it looks like the audience wasn't able to hear us for that whole introduction anyways.
Nice.
Yes. So, Jared, if you don't mind, how about you restarting us just a little bit? Give us that quick intro on your backstory, and then tell us why working for Bez Ramsey is awesome.
Okay, I'll give you cliff notes. We'll go through it a little faster. But so yeah, like I said, I was just a country kid from Titan, Washington, man. Graduated with 52 people, rode my horse to school. Country kid. I worked, played sports, and I hunted and fished. Respected my parents, did all that stuff. And as I grew older, hunting and fishing has been my passion since I was a kid. And one job led me to another as far as that goes, and ended up managing a sporting goods store. Very nice man, Mike Ham, gave me a job managing Hammers Outdoor World here in Yakima, Washington. And from there, that was part of the industry, my industry introduction. I met a lot of cool people and connections. And in 2006, the owners went through a divorce. Store was up for sale. My owner was super cool. Took some of his money that he had as they were getting divorced and put an ad in the paper for myself and some other managers he had for different stores. And Yakima Bait saw the ad. Buzz Ramsey, Dan McNaughton called me for an interview. We met at Outback Steakhouse. Boom, I'm at Yakima Bait Company. And the coolest thing ever, right? Like just the neatest job, coolest transition. I worked hard to get there, and so it was very rewarding. Working with Buzz is like the coolest thing ever, right? Childhood idol, just one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life. And a lot of times when you meet your idol, you don't, a lot of people say, your expectations kind of fall short. Well, this guy is like way above all that. Just the coolest, most kind gentleman, very, very awesome, very willing to teach. I still talk to him every week, once or twice a week, right? We're still friends. I still take him fishing, and I'm still in awe, and he's my buddy. And the coolest thing about working at Yakima Bait when he was there, since he retired, I don't get it anymore, but every Tuesday he was in factory, and I would hear his car pull in, and I would hear the door open, hear him say hi to Barb, who's usually outside in the front room, and he would come, and I would hear, and he'd peek his head around the corner and be like, "I love you, Jared." I'm like, "I love you too, buddy." That was like the coolest thing ever, right? So he and I are very close. I'm very fortunate to have him as a mentor. Learning curve shortened by about 25 years, right? So very cool.
What would you say is the best thing that you've learned from Buzz?
Oh, you know what? I had a lot of cool stories from Buzz, but one thing he always told me, and I always thought it was kind of cool. And, Buzz is very humble, so you don't hear things like that from him very often, but he always told me the lead dog has the best view. And I always thought that was kind of a cool statement, right? Which basically, coming from Buzz, it meant if you're always working and you're always hustling, right? Like you can see everything, you don't ever fall behind, don't ever slack, basically was his message. And it was kind of a cool message to me. And it actually took me a couple of years of thinking about it and being around Buzz to understand that it wasn't one of those oddly conceited type marks, right? It was just remarks. It was just like, dude, hustle and work. And that guy will work anyone in the dirt. Like he's amazing. At 70 years old when he was still at Yakima, dude, that guy, he was awesome, bro. He crushed it. His attention to detail is just insane. So yeah, such a neat guy.
That's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. That's a lot of the, we had a little bit of time to talk before, it's when we say the things that we say, it's to understand what we're meaning, because everybody, it means a little bit different, to where, that's awesome. Stay humble. It's the lead dog. It's not the guy with the most money. It's not the guy with the nicest boat. It's there's something to that.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It was really cool because it was, like I said, I already knew him, right? Like he never said that when we first started hanging, started working together. But after a while, like when he said that, I think he's a smart guy. And so, when he said that, it was just like, it all made sense at that point in time, because I knew, dude, that guy doesn't care. Right. Like, he's more happy to be just fishing and hanging out than all the publicity in the world. Right. Like, he deserves all of it. Like the guy is just a legend for a reason, but he's just so humble. It's crazy.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah. It's really cool, dude.
Now, this summer, you got to travel around to a bunch of different fisheries. Did you do that kind of for Yakima Bait? Was that kind of your own little expedition? Like, how'd that come about?
Well, the cool thing about that is, man, it's a little bit of both, right? And so, like, my fishing stuff started, gosh, I don't remember. It was like May, I went to Alaska, and fished the Seatuck River with my buddy Dennis Isbister for one of his TV shows and for Yakima Bait.
And that's wild. That's Wild Fish, Wild Places, right?
Yeah, Dennis Isbister, dude. Yeah. He's my boy. He's legit. He's one of those.
It is great videos, man. I watch them. It's I really I really enjoy his content. He does a great job.
Dude, he's so fun, bro. Like, he's one of my best friends. And so, I mean, when you ask for it's like work or is it for personal pleasure, like, that's the cool part about my job is it's both, bro. Most of my best friends are all these dudes that I get to do all this stuff with, right? Like, I still have all my good homies I grew up with, you know, and back in Cowichan, you know, 50 people or whatever. But some of my new friends, man, that I've made over the last 20 years, dude, are those guys. And so the Alaska Sea-Tuck thing is just crazy. We just have a ball up there floating and fishing. And we got to go out in Yakutat and catch halibut. I think we caught like 80 some steelhead that week. And we all got a halibut over 80 pounds. And, you know, so I fly home and literally I think I get home and, you know, we went to, as soon as I got home, I flew to the Great Lakes and I fished in Lake Ontario to show them our method of fishing, right? And so they're all fishing like slide divers and inside divers and outside divers and downriggers and planer boards and lead line and copper line and steel wire and all this crazy stuff, right? With 38 rods going out of the boat. And I'm like, bro, let me come out there and you guys can fish planer boards and riggers and let me fish a 16-ounce dropper with a bumper, a pro troll, and a spin fish. And let me show you how this program works, right? Right. And so literally, dude, I flew my rods, all my gear out there, pro troll, spin fish, and the whole deal. And I get in their boat the first day and we're at Lewiston, New York, and we're going to head out. And Lewiston, like, here's Lewiston, New York, and right on the other side is Toronto, Canada, right? Like right below Niagara Falls is where we're fishing. So we launch the Niagara River and we go out past the Coast Guard station, bro. And it's rough, dude. And we're in like a 19-foot boat and it is rough. When I say rough, I'm like Columbia River bar type, man, I might turn around right here rough. And so, but I'm like, bro, I just flew halfway across or, you know, all the way across the country. I'm like, we're fishing. So, dude, I'm back there and I'm running 2 rods, bro. And I am everywhere in this little tiny boat. And we're catching these coho one after another on spinfish, bro, in like 8-foot waves. It was horrible. And we get a limit in like, thank God, in like 45 minutes, right? And so we go back to dock and so my buddy's like, holy crap, that actually worked. I'm like, you just realized that? And he's like, bro, I was trying to drive the boat. Jake Romanek's his name. He's like, bro, I was trying to drive the boat. He goes, I honestly didn't know how many fish we had on the deck. And I was like, because it was just our scouting trip, right? And I was like, that's so funny. And so anyway, we proceed. The next day, we had great weather the next few days. You know, we smoked them, right? Like, I mean, on the spinfish thing, we were getting like 40 to 60 bites a day on those 2 spinfish. And we were catching everything from jack, you know, like your standard jacks to adult Chinooks, you know, cohos, lake trout, steelhead. And just thought it was just cool. It was a murder fest. And that was awesome, man. And then when I flew back, I think we went out in the ocean for a while and I came out, you know, and did some coho fishing and some crabbing and some sea bass fishing. And then I think I went to Hawaii, but I didn't do any fishing there. And then when I flew back from Hawaii, I went to Florida for ICAST. And then I took my boy fishing with my buddy, Bernie Schultz. And my boy caught like a 22-pound snook, right? Like I catch the first fish and I'm jawing at him, you know, just feeding him crap, right? Because it's like 16 pounds, 15 pounds. It's a big snook. I'm like, yeah, buddy, that's right. Like 5 seconds later, of course, he just reels in this tank, right? And so all day long, I got to hear him. No matter what I said, I lost all day, right? Like
right. Yeah.
So, but we caught triple tails, we caught redfish, we caught snook, we saw like a 12-foot bull shark, we saw manatees, we saw giant stingrays, we saw tarpon jumping out of the water, dude. It's the coolest day ever, right? Like that was so fun. Yeah, that was a really neat fishery. And then yeah, dude, so
that's
cool,
an awesome
right?
experience, man.
It was cool. It was both our first time. Bernie Schultz, who is one of my pro staffers and one of my good friends, is a longtime BASS pro, right? Like Bernie's been a Hildebrandt pro staffer since 1980, I think he said. He's the oldest Hildebrandt pro staffer. So, you know, he's still with Hildebrandt and just the coolest cat ever, bro. Just a neat guy, kind of a legend in the sport. And he lives right there in Florida. And so Hunter and I actually got done with ICAST, put away my booth, shipped it off, went, grabbed a rental car, drove 3.5 hours to this small little town called Cedar Key, Florida, and got this hotel that looked like, you know, someone should have been selling meth or gang shot or a body sign out front because it was just run down, but it was a beach hotel. It was so cool, dude. When we got inside, it was just a neat old beach hotel, right? And so, of course, we could hear live music. And Hunter's like, let's walk over there. So we walk over there, the coolest little beach bar, dude, hanging out right where we launched the boat the next morning. So we found all that and had some blackened grouper, dude. Hunter never had it. It was so awesome. Drank some beers, listened to some music, and then went and fished out in Florida the next day with Bernie. And it was just like the coolest experience for both of us.
Right on.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was really cool.
And then you came back home, right? I remember came down to the Rogue, and I saw you up on the Columbia.
Yeah, so then we came back home, and then I actually went to Buoy 10, and I fished there for the opener. So I fished Buoy 10, the 5th, 6th, 7th, I think, and 8th. And then I came home for 2 days, and then I drove to the Rogue, and I fished it for the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. I drove home the 17th. I went to work for 3 hours, grabbed my boat, went back to Buoy 10, fished the NSI Derby the 18th, and fished Buoy 10 the 19th and 20th, and then came back home. But yeah, dude. So I fished literally in August. I think I fished 23 days in August. And I don't guide. I just do it just for work and fun and promo, right? But the Rogue thing, man, that is legit.
Dude,
that is fun.
Yeah, it's you kind of put on a clinic when you went down there because it was a little bit tough fishing right before you got there, from what I from what I understand. And then you went to work with well, you can tell us about it. The 360s. People have been using them, but I don't think they've been as effective as what you did there. I don't think.
Well, and that's what I did in Lake Ontario too, right? Was that, like, these are our salmon, bro. They got to bite the same. And so I talked to my buddies, a lot of guys down there, Scott Feist and Kurt Porter Carrero, and a lot of my pro staff guys down there. And, they're always like, no, bro, and Steve Chrysler from Hawaii, like, I love that guy, 540, bro. Woo-hoo! And so anyway, I talked to all those guys, and they're like, dude, it's an anchovy and a bait and a weight, and you got to rig them this way. And I'm thinking, what? I'm like, I'm not going through all that trouble. I'm like, I literally just left Buoy 10. All my bumpers and 360s are still on my rods. I've got like 200 spinners and spinning fish tied up. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do, bro. I'm going to roll down there, and that's what I'm going to do. And so Hunter and I left that morning. We drove all the way down there. It's 9.5 hour drive for me, bro. We got there. Of course, we didn't even go to the hotel and check in. We dropped the boat. And I met these. So we're dropping the boat. We pull in, and we're trying to figure out where the launch is. And there's this woman, Cindy and Mike, right? They're like in their 70s, they're retired, and they're washing their boat. They start talking to me about whatever. And I told him, oh, just me and my boy are going out, fishing. We just got here and blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh, I forgot to put gas in my boat and didn't have gas. And I was like, oh, bummer, dude. And so we were launching the boat. And so Cindy Mike pulled up next to me, and he's like, hey, can we go fishing with you? And I'm like, yeah, bro, for sure. I'm like, bring your wife. I'm like, bring your wife. I got a barbecue, dude. You can come. I got this giant boat, nobody in it. I'm like, jump in. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, jump in. So we throw him in the boat. I launch Hunter, and he's like, you need me to launch the boat? I'm like, no, he's got it. You know what I mean? They're like, what? You're going to let him drive? I'm like, yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's got it. And so I back him down. I hot drop him, and he maneuvers between like 3 other boats at the dock that are parked all cattywampus. And I go park the boat. We get in the boat. We go out there, dude. We literally drop rods, and everybody there fishes, like 1.5 to 3, maybe 4 ounce leads of an anchovy, right? Which is standard. Right. It works. Sure, it works, absolutely. Right? And so I put on 16 ounce leads and pro trolls, right? And because that's what I've been running. And so we're like, that's what we're going to do. And we drop them in the water, and we kind of, the first pass, we kind of figured out where the dips and dives and ducks were and where the moss was and stuff. Right. And so we come back down, we're ready for the second pass. We clear all the moss off. We drop them back in, and we go like 20 feet, and Hunter's rod just smokes. And when I say smokes, bro, like I caught a lot of salmon this year. That thing, rod tip in the water, fish going absolutely ballistic. And the coolest part about that is immediately after that happened, this badass sea lion warrior in a jet sled comes running up next to us, bro, with this dog on the bow, throwing bombs in the water, dude. And I'm like, this is my kind of fishery. I love this, right? Like, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my life, dude. That guy was like the sea lion He-Man coming in to just kill it. Yeah. And we see this fish once, and the Hunter goes, oh my God, Dad, it's like a 40-pounder, right? Because Hunter's landed a lot of salmon, bro. All the big ones, right. Generally it's during a wild season where he has to release them. Well, anyway, we net the fish, and I net it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, this thing is giant, right? And so I pick it up and I slam it on the deck, and it wasn't 40, but it was every bit of 35 pounds. I mean, the thing was giant. Biggest, salmon Hunter ever landed. We were there 20 minutes, right? And so after that, it's like, all right, we were getting it dialed. Well, it's still like any other fishery. Your exact same method may not work exactly the same. So you got to do your homework, right? And so, but throughout the week, we talked to some other buddies, and I showed some guys how to do that. Well, that night we go to the camps, right? There's this camp, I can't remember what it's called, but it's right there on the Rogue River jetty. There's a camp out there, and so my buddy Scott Feist was there, and I go over there, and Chris Young and a bunch of other guys came on, what the hell are you guys doing? Right? I'm gonna show you. So I got my son up there. He's tying leaders, showing these guys how to tie a treble with a stinger on 30-pound and how long to make it, blah, blah, blah. Right? So cool. And I'm in the back of the boat and I got my rods out and I'm explaining to them, the slide system, the dropper, the bumper, the length, the pound test the bumper is, the distance and why, and the pro troll and why the fin and why this color and the length of leader behind it and what to use. And it was just the coolest thing ever, bro. And so we went down there.
That's not to cut you off, but that's got to be pretty amazing, because those guides, Chris Young, Scott Fives, they're top-notch guides that are to have Hunter have all their attention to where he showed them. I mean, how proud! I mean, that's pretty proud dad moment right there,
bro. Legendary, right? Like,
I
got my son up there showing some of the best guides in the business. How he does it, right? And the coolest part was I didn't even have to look, bro, because I knew he was on point. Like, I didn't even have to double check it, right?
Right.
And but to backtrack just a little bit, when we got in the water that day, I always questioning myself as far as, water temperature, so on and so forth. Well, it was 70 degrees. Yeah. 70 degrees is a spinner bite, bro. I mean, I don't care where you're at, it's a spinner bite. They're going to bite spinners. And so that just kind of led us to that. But, we did that with Scott and them. And I dug through my tackle box. I gave him blades. I gave him clevises. I gave him beads. I gave him hoochies. I gave him treble hooks. I gave him all this stuff that I had. I tried to split up between all my buddies. And so the next day I'm out there and we got up late and we wanted to go play in the ocean. So we go out in the ocean. We go bottom fishing. Just me and Hunter go bottom fishing. We're getting triples, dude, and releasing I don't know how many hundreds of bottom fish and catching lean cod and just exploring out there because it's like the coolest area ever.
It's pretty awesome.
And so at noon I told Cindy and Mike, right, that I'd meet them. Again, because they wanted to go fish, the old couple. And I'm like, hell yeah, you can come with me, no problem. And they're like, can we bring friends? I'm like, hell yeah, bring friends. I got a big boat. I got a barbecue. I'm like, bring friends. And so, so we went out again. We did it that night and caught fish. Well, at the end of the day, Chris Young comes up to me and he's like, hey, bro, he goes, I got a present for you. He goes, when you get back, I'm like, how many did you kill today? Because I seen him catching, he's like 7. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that's awesome. Right. Well, he gave me a half gallon of Grey Goose. And I was like, dude, I love you. That is awesome. Right, because that's just like a happy, good trade in my mind. 7 salmon for a half gallon. I'm good for that.
Chris is awesome, man. I love that guy.
Dude, stud, legend, class act, classy dude, just cool. Yeah. And so that progressed throughout the whole week, bro. It was really neat to watch that fishery change. Because when I left there, dude, there was, half the boats fishing pro trolls. And I'm not saying that was all me. There was a few guys fishing pro trolls when I got there. But it was just really neat to have the acceptability. Gold Beach is a rare place to fish because I showed up there in a 30-foot sled, Yakima Bait, bro, probably a complete jackwagon asshole, which is not my intention. And I am not one of those, right? Like,
no, you're not.
I just went down there with my boy to try to do something really cool and see if what I thought would work. And dude, they were the coolest people ever, bro. All of them. Like all of them, dude. You hook a fish, they move out of your way. You reel in for them, dude. Like, and it is crowded. It is a nutty fishery, dude. But it was really cool. So all the people on Gold Beach, much love, thank you. That was awesome. You guys rock. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, I fished it a couple of times with some family, and did it. And I don't spend a lot of time over there. Like we were talking, I don't. There's enough people fishing that I put my attention elsewhere. And I know people use the 360s and they had success there. I don't want to take anything away from those guys.
No.
But after you left there, it changed the conversation. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it was neat though, bro. And it's a fun way to fish. You know what I mean? I love fishing bait, bro. I love a herring takedown. I love watching them choke a chovy. But dude, sometimes the maintenance thing, especially in that crowded fishery, it was so nice to just be able to troll, pick up, pull off moss, drop them back down.
Well, dude, I use eggs for steelhead, but I love soft beats.
Yeah, right, bro. They crush the crap out of them.
Hey, I'm kind of tired of dealing with bait. It's just messy. It's costly. Just everything that goes into it. It's same as that. I'm not saying, there's not time for bait.
Oh, no.
But if I can use something other than bait, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Perfect.
Especially if you're a guide. You don't have to worry about, is that bait still running right? Like, did the client do something when they were dropping it down? Did the hooks come out? You're fishing more time effectively, so it's going to increase your success rate as a guide. So, that's huge for those guys.
Yeah, and yeah, as just a I'm like me, dude. I'm not a guy, like I said. I'm just a regular fisherman. But dude, that's the deal. Is the longer you're fishing, I mean, the more chance you have of catching a fish and fishing effectively. And so that's just kind of what I was down there doing. And it's funny because generally I'll fish a 16-ounce pro troll or 16-ounce lead, no dropper with a pro troll, right? I found when I was down there, bro, that literally by the end of it, I had it dialed and I was getting, like I was killing at least 5 a day and getting at least 10 to 12 bites, which was really good. And I was only fishing like a half a day because I would go out in the ocean and play because that's fun, right? That's fun. And, but dude, 15-inch dropper, bro, to a 12-ounce lead was the money mark. That by far worked better, whatever it was. If it was just a swing, like, because there is a different swing when you have an inline, weight on a slider and your pro troll's behind it doing this and the weight's moving, right? And then you did a dropper on it and the whole thing swings different. And I don't know if it changes the action or what, but by far it was better with the dropper than without.
I think it's like you said, when it's swinging, that it depends on where that dropper is on that swing, kind of creates something a little. I mean, well, and we're fishermen, so we're going to overthink everything 3 times and then go back to it's just who we are. You don't know exactly what's going down there, but it makes sense to me that there is, because kokanee are the same way. I mean, that's the 12-inch leader. I mean, to an 11.5-inch lead. Doesn't sound like a lot to us, but I will, I work for Cody up there at the High Lakes, and dude, Paulina this year, I'm here to tell you, it was pretty surgical on those leader lengths of that hoochie. I mean, it was for whatever reason, and then it would be one rod. It'd be that rod, and then I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to me at times.
It doesn't,
it's definitely something different.
And like I tell everybody, the way I explain, like do seminars and stuff, it's like a finely tuned motor, right? Like, it runs. Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, it sounds good, right? But is it running like where it's supposed to be? Like right on where, there's no misses. Everything's firing where it's supposed to be, right? And that's how a lot of these methods work. Every fishing method, that's how it works, right? There is a science to it, right? I mean, there's a science to it.
On his boat that I operate for him up there, there's no downriggers on that pontoon boat, and so I'm using lead, and I have two sliders above the leader for a reason. It's when you want 6 ounces, there's a difference between putting a 6-ounce lead on there and then a 4 and a 1 or a 4 and a 2. I mean,
for sure, bro.
Dude, I found it. I mean, that's how weird it is. It is,
dude.
That 1 6-ounce lead didn't work as good as if I put a 4 in front of a 2. And I think it's the same thing. Something moves different. I don't know what it is, but there's a difference.
Bro, something in the cosmos with the fish, bro. If I ever figure that out, I'm telling you, dude, we'll all be rich.
Yeah.
Because that is the question, man. I think that's why we all go out, because I don't care who you are. You can go out and smoke them all days in a row and go out the next day, dude, beating your chest like a big monkey. And then, dude, you get blanked, right? Like, it's like, what the hell? Yeah. And your buddy beside you who you told what to do and is doing the same damn thing you're doing is railing them.
I would like to thank Nate Kenny right now for doing exactly that at Odell this last season. Got my teeth kicked in. And so even Cody goes, what is he doing? Exactly what we said. That's all that he's doing. He's just doing it better. And so, it's for whatever reason, the stars aligned in his, in his boat this year.
It is funny. And, going back to that too, like I've noticed, like, it's like a duck call cadence, whoever's driving the boat, right? Like it's like a duck call cadence because if we switch we're not getting bit or whatever, and the fish are marking, they're coming up, they're looking or whatever, and we switch drivers, like Hunter a lot of times will be like, Dad, just let me drive the boat. And literally, dude, it'll take him like 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm like, and boom, he's stuffing a fish. I'm like, why didn't I think of this sooner? He's like, you're going too fast. I'm like, well, we caught 6 fish already. He's like, well, you're going too fast now. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're going too fast now.
Yeah, like you're probably right, kid.
Right.
And he usually is. I mean, I did that when we were down the road. We were filming that day, and dude, we did great all day. We hammered them. I don't know how many we killed, but it was a bunch. And we're not getting bit. And I was like, let me drive, Dad. And I'm like, All right, fine. And do I literally hand the wheel? He spins them, drops them. He calls out whatever depths it is he wants, and boom, we hit a double. I was like,
Dude,
all right, whatever.
And that's a testament to his level of confidence, and well done.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah,
anybody that's seen that down there, for a guy Hunter's age to willingly take the helm in that area, there's a lot of people that are intimidated out of fishing in that down there.
And he's fishing 7 rods, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not only running a boat, but 7 rods.
7
and so
rods.
That is well done in teaching him, giving him the tools that it takes to fish in any of the diverse fisheries that we have. That's remarkable.
Honestly, he does really good, man. The only place that he won't run the boat is in the circle at Drano for springer season. And that's my boat. He'll run my dad's, but my boat, because I fish, 12.5-foot rods off the bow, dude. So when I come through there, it's a swath, dude. And I mean, when you're in there, I keep both twin motors fired up and my trolling motors running, because a lot of times I need to turn and pivot really fast. And so I literally will run all 3 motors all day when I'm running in the circle at Drano for springers.
God, I want to fish that so bad. I mean, that just sounds like so much fun, Jarod.
No, it's actually a blast, bro. I turn on music, dude. We hang out, dude. We barbecue burgers in the circle. We catch fish, dude. It's fun as hell. And I've been going down there, dude, since I was like 15. So I know everyone.
Right. And so you have a lot of experience fishing that fishery.
Oh, yeah, bro. A lot. Yeah. I couldn't tell you how many times I've been down there, dude. I mean, like I said, since I was 15 years old, I've been going down there. So,
It's chaos.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, so just for comparison, I've been to Drano way more than I've probably fished the Click. And I stopped counting. I started floating the Click. My brother-in-law, or Dan Little, took me down it, when I was like 18. And then my brother-in-law took me when I was 20. I bought my own drift boat when I was 21. And the last logged record I had, I've been down it over 1,600 times in my own drift boat, the Klickitat. And I bet I fished Drano way more than that.
Oh, my God.
For those of us that haven't been up there, Jarod, what's it compared to? How's it compared to Gold Beach? Is it a tighter fishery?
Same, bro. Probably tighter. Yeah, it's probably tighter than Gold Beach for sure. You're much closer, bro. Like you're much closer. At least Gold Beach, you got a little room, and Drano, you don't. I mean, that little bitty circle. You're talking, sometimes 4 boats wide, bro, going in a circle. And there are dudes out there that don't have business running a toaster, much less a boat. For those of you that know who you are, I'm sorry if I offended you, but it is the truth.
Yeah.
And then there's people that are out there legitimately trying to learn, too. And so, for me, I'm pretty patient with everybody. Everybody's got to learn. The only hard part about like me fishing Drano is my boat's, I think it's 33 feet from the motors to the bow. And so it's big, bro. So it sits there. It sits there. So like when those big wind gusts come up, my boat doesn't move. I can watch the entire flock like geese go, ooh, and I'm like, oh God, don't hit me. But no, it's really cool. It's a good place. I mean, 9% of the people are super cool, dude. Everybody cheers each other on. It's really cool. It's a fun fishery. It is overcrowded, but at that point in time, we're kind of pushed into these zones to where everybody has to be in certain areas to fish, and so
absolutely
they get overcrowded. Yeah.
And then and I think it's on us to how do we responsibly all fish together. Don't get me wrong, you're always going to have that one guy. I'm sure you've seen him at Gold Beach. I'm sure Drano has those guys of you're not the direction police. But you can kind of see the flow of the traffic, and we're all going to fish together, and you get that one guy that's going to come right up the gut of everybody going out because it's a free river, and we're always going to have those guys. But go ahead.
Sorry. And they said, it's funny because you think about it, and the guy that you yell at or get pissed off at in the water or whatever, if you met that guy somewhere in a bar, he'd probably be your buddy.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'm just in my mind, I want to say, I will meet you at the beach. I will throw you through a wall. I am a giant. I will eat people your size. Right. But in my words that come out, because God's good to me and he tells me what to say sometimes, is, hey man, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to do better next time or whatever. But that guy could be having the worst day ever of his life. And I just happen to run into him on that moment. So I can't really fault the guy for having a crappy moment. So I just try to smile like, hey.
it's always the guys to where I can understand it. I lost my cool a day up on the lake this year, but I mean, it's day in and day out of the same thing of, my guests are the safety of my guests are my top concern. Absolutely. Without a doubt. I will not risk anybody's safety over a fish. I won't do it. And 9 times out of 10, we'll bow out. I've seen some guys do, they'll main motor right in front of you and then stop, and then, the game. So we bow out. I mean, it is what it is. We don't care. But this guy, every day, he's on the water. It doesn't matter which one of our boats is out there. He will literally troll within 10 feet of our boats. And so you don't know if because when somebody's trolling and they got a cabin, I don't know if they see you or not. And we're on anchor. We're spot locked. We're jigging for Mackinac. And so you're kind of guessing, hey, does he see me? So we got to move, and it takes away from us being productive with our guests. And dude, I let it get me. It just frustrated me, man. And
we're all human, bro. We're all human.
And so I just started hollering, learn how to read your electronics. At the end of the day, I'll show you how to read it. I mean, you don't got to do what you're doing. But they think if they troll their gear underneath our boats, that they're because they know we're parked on fish. Why would we be there if we're not looking at fish on our electronics?
Right.
I'm like, dude, we're fishing. The main thing is we're fishing 2 different fish. You're trolling actively feeding fish. I never fish actively feeding fish. I fish for digesting fish because those fish will stay underneath my boat. And actively hunting fish, you'll see him and then he's gone. So I can't target him, but I can frustrate the one that's digesting, already full. He will bite. It just takes a little bit. And so,
bro, if I'm laying on the couch with a full belly, if I'm laying on the couch with a full belly of pizza and you drop another one beside me, I'm eventually going to eat it too.
It's like the last piece of pizza. I mean, if you sit there watching a movie long enough, you kind of look over. Hey, anybody else gonna eat that?
Yeah, bro. I didn't get this big by asking anybody if they were going to eat it. I'm just more like, I ate that.
Right. And so I mean, I'm like you. I try to put my best foot forward, and but it did catch me this year. I had a moment of weakness, of frustration, of my guys pay me, my guests pay me a lot of money to work very hard for them, and so it's really more frustration of that of, you take the spots, I don't care, just please allow me the courtesy of being able to work and give my guests what they paid me for. That's the hard part.
Or and even just hey man, do you mind if next time you slide over 30 feet and I troll through there, I'd like to get a one pass in there, bro. Like I'm always cool with that, dude. Like stuff like that, no problem.
Absolutely. Our fishing is a little bit different. Right? Yeah, because we're just where we fish is, we got the whole lake. That's and I, because I have guys, they say, oh, I got your spot. It's not that big a lake. What boat I use. What you don't, I can do what I do anywhere in the lake. They are everywhere. It literally is. Yeah. That's just the couple of fish that I parked on. Right. And so it was, like I said, it was one of the times I let myself down that I should have, I probably should have just bowed out, but it gets frustrating, so.
We're all human, bro. It's funny, Hunter, whenever we first, we got the big boat, he got his license, right? And he did his whole test, and we're out on the water, and I don't remember where we were at. I think we were in we were at buoy 10 or something. And he's like, and so I'm letting him drive, and I'm like, hey son, there's a guy coming at you. And he looks at me, he's like, Dad, we're the bigger boat. He goes, I only have to move for sailboats or larger vessels. He goes, if they would have read their manual, and he goes, they would know that they have to move. And I'm like, well done. Well done, dude. Like, how do you argue with that, right? Like, if the guy says anything to you, son, you just tell him that, bro. And I mean, that's really, really not a jerk move. You're like on point, and you're right. So
you can't argue with logic.
Yeah, and he still gets pissed at me. Like the Rogue, whenever we were trolling, he's like, "Dad, they're just supposed to move. They're supposed to." When I let him drive the boat, I'm always like, "Ah, crap," because he's right. He's right. Yeah. I mean, it is bigger than any boat, so it's pretty funny.
Do you or him ever try and educate those other boats that you are the bigger boat?
No, dude. One time I did, like Todd said, we were at Wanapum, and Wanapum's another one of those super crowded fisheries. The water is gnarly, dude. Like it can get pretty wild. The currents are weird. A lot of people are there that don't belong there, fishing small boats that shouldn't be there. And it's very, very tight fishery. And I'm coming around. And I'm in my big boat, man, and it's like driving a semi. You got to prepare for every turn. And this guy, like 3 times in a row, just cuts me off this little 12-foot lung. And so the next time, I'm like, I'm just going, dude. I'm not moving. And he starts screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling. And so, Hunter's like, tell him. And so I just told him, I'm like, hey, bro, here's the deal. This is the law. I'm like, if you want to hit my boat, I says, you're going to be in trouble because X, Y, Z, right? I lay it out for him. He's like, all you guides think you own everything. And I'm like, I'm not a guide. And he's like, that makes you an even bigger, and I was like, well, thanks, bro. Sorry. So that's the last time I tried to educate anybody because I didn't make a friend that day.
No, and you don't by saying anything at all. They're just, they're bound and determined to be right. And it is what it is. I think they go out there looking for a conflict of, it's a free body of water, and it's a guide sticker on the, I have a guide sticker on the boat. So there's already a little bit of animosity, the sponsors are on the side of my boat. And so, they want to prove to you that it's a free world and anybody can fish anywhere they want. And I'm like, dude, that's why you don't see us trolling in the pack for kokanee and all that. We stay on the outside. It's just, hey, do you have fun? As we try to just be as less intrusive as we can. We realize they're going to fish a couple hours. 9:30 they're going to bow out. Because that's when the kokanee typically start dipping off on the bite. And so we just let them have it, and it's pretty cordial, for the most part. But there's a couple boats up there. It's just like, come on. And its safety is why it frustrates me. I could care less about a fish. I really could. For every fish that we lose, we're going to hook another one. It's literally is safety of, in an open sled, I can see where you're looking. Yeah. I watched up there at Odell. You can see the guy, he's in a boat by himself. He just landed a double. He's got his head down, dealing with fish in the deck of his boat, but they're on track. And so they're not going to get out of his way. And they're like, dude, he's not even looking. He's trying to deal with other things in his boat right now.
He has no clue.
Just let him have a little bit of area, man. Speed up, slow down, turn left, turn right. It's a lake. And so, dude, it cracks me up. Nope, that's where they're going. And dude, you see collisions. You're like, for what? You can see the guys dealing with fish. Give him the opportunity to deal with those fish. A little bit of common courtesy and respect goes a long ways, because he can't drive his boat and deal with his gear. And so, but it's not funny. We shouldn't laugh, but it's like,
no, it is funny, bro. That's the funny part. That's why Bill Vance is famous, because it's funny stuff. But talk about that guy at Wanapum, like he was watching me the whole time. He's running from his tiller, and I'm looking at him going, bro, like this isn't even right. But granted, dude, that day I was testing, which I had the only 6 2 and 2.5 inch spinfish that existed. And that day we did boat over 60 salmon that day. So I understand he may have been really, really pissed off because we absolutely put on a clinic.
You might have not done yourself a favor there.
Yeah. Because I had the only ones that existed, but we went home with 16 summer Chinook and 16 sockeye that day, dude.
Dude, that's awesome.
It was nuts. And my Hunter's such a picky kid. He keeps releasing them until he gets a big one, right? Like, so he'll release them, and it's great, but it pisses people off, right? Because they watch the kid catch like 8 fish. He's like, I don't want that one. 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 I'm like,
Hunter, you're gonna get a shot.
Yeah, it's like, who kicks back a 15-pound upriver bright, bro? And this kid, we were down at mouth of the White Salmon here, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, a month ago. And just me, my buddy Josh, Keanu Wilson, and my son, right? And we just got back from Buoy 10. We just got back from fishing the ocean, and we literally caught 241 silvers in 5 days in the ocean. Before,
Jesus.
on our way home, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But we so we go to the mouth of the white salmon, and we from 7:30 until noon, we landed 32 Chinook to kill 4 because Hunter would not kill one.
It's all about
because
catching as many fish
awesome.
as you can.
The first fish we caught, I actually caught it, and I never hardly reel in a fish other than my limit fish. Like whenever the boat limits, I'll reel in that fish just because I have to, because I really don't care.
Right.
But that day, I was like, I'm going to catch my own fish. I just felt like I want to catch a fish today. And dude, turn, rod, smokes. I get like a 22-pound, just upriver chrome bright donkey, right? Just beautiful fish. Kill it, whack, in the cooler. And we proceeded to get a bite every 5 minutes and hook a fish every 5 minutes. We would literally hook so many fish that we would leave rods in the rod holder trying to get doubles, triples, and quads that day. That's why we went through so many fish. But Hunter finally killed like a 16-pounder, and he just wasn't happy with it. He was so funny. But I get it. We like the week before we spent 5 days fishing the ocean over there. We went and stayed in Oahu. That was when we did the crab, and I let him run the boat out to get crab. But we spent 5 days fishing, and we caught 241 salmon in the ocean, all on spin fish, dude. It was the dumbest thing I had ever seen. We'd run 14 miles out. We would drop them in the water, and I would troll back towards the Columbia River bar, the buoy. And it was just thump city. When one rod would go down, we just leave them, and all 5 of them would be down within just 30 seconds, dude. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen.
What, you brought up a spin fish. We've been pulling plugs forever, start off with the hot shots and, the mag lip, it's the only plug in my boat anymore. I mean, that's literally
so fishy.
It's whatever reason, that the action or, paint schemes, whatever, it just hands down the plug. What was the process? How long did it take to bring that, plug to, because hot shots dominated, those hot shots and tadpoles or, that little, somebody else is making them now, different name.
Yeah, hidden tadpoles. I mean, dude, wiggle warts, those were all good. The smaller size quicks were good. Even some of the smaller flatfish were good. Hottentots were good. Hot lips were good, depending on where you fished. All those were great lures.
Were you a part of that mag lip? It coming to, from concept to getting to me?
So the funny part about the mag lip is Yakima Bait has had the mag lip for quite a while. A guy named Tom Seward, who used to design lures for Yakima Bait Company, designed a funny looking M2 flatfish that was called the M2 SP or M2 Special, which was the mag lip 4.5. So that's how that actually came about. And when Buzz went to work for Yakima Bait Company, he renamed the mag lip, renamed the M2 SP flatfish. They ran a contest on iFish. A gentleman from Yakima, who was a fish and wildlife biologist named Perry Harvester, won the naming contest, hence naming the M2 SP flatfish now mag lip in the 4.5. Buzz redesigned all the colors, brought it out as mag lip, and it took off. Well, when that started, he was already designing the 3.5 mag lip. So Buzz did the 3.5 all by himself and brought that to the Portland Sports Show. I can't remember exactly which year, as a follow-up to the 4.5 mag lip. And as you know, the 3.5 is just the most ridiculous thing on the planet, bro. It's probably one of the fishiest lures ever invented for salmon, steelhead, multi-species across country. It is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So that was such a big hit, and then we were looking at doing a salmon size. That's where I came into the picture. So my very first project with Buzz at Yakima Bait Company was helping him design the 5.0 mag lip. And I can remember we worked on each one of those for about a year, but the 5.0, I remember one moment we were at Drano because we had to go to open fisheries to test them, right? Because we can't be fishing in closed fisheries. And so Drano's open. And so I'm out there with Buzz. So of course everybody's texting me, what are you getting them on? What are you catching them? I'm like, we're working. I'm like, we were actually testing lures. And I remember it was like 4 p.m, and we tried everything with this because we're looking for certain criteria so all the mag lips match up, right? Like it has to run to 4 miles an hour. It has to dive to this depth. It has to exhibit a skip beat action. It has to have so much buoyancy. So we're sitting there, and he makes me, I can remember what he made me because he had spring Chinook, smoked spring Chinook, and he made me spring Chinook sandwiches. And we're sitting there, and we're eating some of Maggie's cookies, his wife. And then he looks around and he goes, well, Jarod, he goes, I'm going to tell you this. He goes, don't ever do this. And I'm like, what? And he's got this $1,200 prototype that we were running all day, right? And he gets out a blowtorch and he looks at it and he goes, And he goes, and he lets it cool for a minute. And he's like, I'm like, what the hell? And we put it in the water, bro. And it was like, miracle juice, right? Like Buzz put his miracle touch on it, and boom, dude, the 5.0 maglip right there. That was money. And so after that, we worked on the 3.0 maglip. And then I believe we did the 2.5 and 2.0 maglip, and then the 4.0 maglip was the last one we did. So that it rounded out the whole series of families. So as I always tell everybody, there's a little bit of buzz in every maglip.
Yeah. Because I run, it depends on the depth where I'm running my plugs in the river. Is,
sure.
For steelhead, I'm 3.0 and 3.5.
Amen. Oh yeah, bro.
And I'm here to tell you, for whatever reason, in my boat, it's the Streetwalker, Dr. Death, and Misty River. I mean, those 3 plugs are pretty much the only 3 plugs that you'll see me ever running.
Yeah, bro, those are the top 3 selling maglip colors, so that makes complete sense.
Yeah,
they really are.
Those colors are just, and I fish, from Washington, everywhere. I mean, they just don't stop. It's just,
yeah, bro. Great Lakes,
love those
same
plugs.
Thing. Yeah, dude. The Great Lakes is the same thing. The funny thing is about the Great Lakes, though, is those colors suck out there. The steelhead don't like them. No, dude. They like golds and coppers and like oranges and stuff like that, bro. They do not really care for the pink ones out there, though. The fish or the fishermen.
Yeah, well, that's because they're not really steelhead over there. I mean, that's
they really aren't. They actually aren't steelhead because they didn't go to the ocean. But yeah, dude. It's pretty crazy. They fit. Maglip is by far taken off over there. That was part of one of my deals. After we designed the Maglip series, Buzz and I started making trips back to the Great Lakes, everywhere from Wisconsin all the way to New York, and introducing this lure into those fisheries. And that's how we got the Maglip going back there, was boots on the ground. I would jump on charter boats and deckhand, take captains and out and have them drinks afterwards, take big boxes of maglips to docks in Wisconsin and Michigan and say, hey, I'll deckhand for you for free if you let me show you how to run these lures. I'm like, yeah, jump on the board, kid. And so that's really how we got maglip going out there. Helper like the Romanacs, Mark and Jake Romanak, who have a TV show out there called Fishing 411. Mark's kind of like the Buzz Ramsey in the Midwest. Yeah, dude, Mark's a legend. Just a great guy. Him and his son Jake do that. Super, super cool people. And so with their help and, reps help and promotion and just the lure speaking for itself, the maglip is the number one, steelhead lure in rivers in Michigan and Wisconsin as well.
Is that why, to do kind of a little circle here, I'm having a hell of a time finding plugs, at all the retailers. Are you guys fighting the same thing that everybody else is fighting with commodity restraints? As far as, or is the demand just so good that they're getting bought before they're even here?
Yeah, I mean, that's us, because all of our stuff is built here, or in Ensenada, we have a factory down there too. And so we have since the 90s. And so all our stuff is built here. So we don't have to worry about shipping or anything like that, like across seas or whatever. And it's just the demand, bro, is nuts. I mean, right. With spinfish and maglip and spin and glow, those are our biggest hangups. But dude, they're the most popular ones out there.
Yeah.
And spin and glow takes 10 days to make one, bro. So
does it really?
10 days. Yeah. So spin and glow, we make them literally from dust at the factory, bro. Like from dust. And they go into this machine and they get, a few different things happen to them and they turn into a solid, dude. And then they come out, they get dipped 2 or 3 times with paint. Then they get cleared and then, they have to dry between all those sessions. And then each one of those spin and glows is hand sawed. The wings are hand placed in them and then the caps are put on them and then they're painted again and cleared and packaged. And dude, it's a 10-day process.
So there's a person touching every aspect of the spin and glow. Pretty much. We
did some stuff called lean manufacturing, I think in 2018, to where we basically study our manufacturing process and how much effort it takes to produce each item. And the spin and glow, just steps alone, I think it was called spaghetti mapping or something is what they called it. But the spin and glow was like 7,000 steps to make one, bro. 7,000. So simply by moving some stuff around and changing our manufacturing process just a little bit, not the process itself, just where we did certain pieces of that puzzle, we necked it down to like 2,000 steps, right? So we made ourselves more efficient.
Wow. So it's remarkable that you keep the price point that you do. You know,
Oh, bro.
Dude,
those things should be like $3 a piece. I'm telling you.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it about
every dot hand painted on them? Every little tiger stripe's hand painted on them, dude. I mean, it's like, come on.
That's crazy.
But what is it about a spinning glow that nobody wants to spend $3 on, but they don't have a problem spending $5 on a spinner blade?
Oh,
that
bro.
That somebody probably paints, they probably touch it one time.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty crazy. It's just that's the way it was set up years ago, and that's the way she sits, man. And It's pretty crazy because the spinning glow is probably one of those lures that people always ask me, like, so what Yakima Bait lure catches the most salmon and steelhead on the Columbia every year? I'm like, spinning glow. And they're like, no, seriously, dude. I'm like, a spinning glow, bro. Like, a spinning glow. Everyone fishes spinning glows. I mean, like, if you fish, I don't care if you have a $200,000 boat or not, you fish a spinning glow at some point, plunking off a bank, drinking a beer somewhere down around Longview, hanging out on a beach with your buddies. You've done it, and it's fun, and you've done it a lot.
Dude,
and
drift fishing in Idaho.
Bro.
You know, the drifted a spinning glow, a small one compared to just a corky.
Yeah.
Night and day. Plunking, there's no way I would ever plunk without a spinning glow in front of my eggs or shrimp. I mean, that's just ridiculous to me.
And people don't realize, the number one bait for lake trout in the Great Lakes, the number one bait is spinning glow. Number one.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Number one. And walleye, dude. So many people use spinning glow for walleye and kokanee and salmon and halibut and everything else, bro, in between. Steelhead, dude. I mean, everything. I mean, you can catch everything on a spinning glow, and it's super easy to use. You can add it to whatever, and the funny thing about a spinning glow is you can fish it upside down, which most people don't know. And you can cut off one wing.
Why would you say that on the podcast? Now everybody's going to catch my fish? They have the same secrets that I have.
Oh, bro, my job is to sell stuff. It's like I tell people, I don't build it to store it. I build it to sell it.
Yep. No, it's I think people, because everybody, we joke about this all the time. Everybody, when we do a class or a seminar, everything, everybody wants to know the leader length. I don't know. I got 3 lengths. I got here, and I got here.
Yeah.
I don't have much. But kokanee, I will say kokanee is the one where we tighten that up quite a bit, just because we're looking at a certain action off of that dodger.
And that again goes back to what kind of boat you have and who's driving the boat, because I give you the same leader lengths again, and you're beside me, bro, but you're driving your boat a little bit different, or your boat goes through the water a little bit different, or your rod angle's a little bit different, or whatever, man. I mean, everybody, the way they drive their boat dictates their leader length. I believe, I kind of believe that, right? Like, because if you want to troll faster, just go longer leader. If you want to troll slower, go shorter leader. I mean,
we all use different mix-ups of what we use. Odell, Paulina, it's really no different, but I would agree with you there. It's more this year. It seemed to be more bait placement than color, and we never really seen that before. Pretty much, it's either and I don't remember the name of it, the hoochie, the one, the 50-50 chartreuse and pink, the chum slick, is the one, that we use predominantly the most. But the pink version of that is just as effective. But everybody says, what are you using? Looking at Alex's boat, looking Cody's boat, looking Nate's boat, looking my boat. We're all using something a little bit different. And and I think that's why, is because each boat moves a little bit different in the water. None of us run the same boat.
No, and like I've gotten to the point to where I'll just either speed up or slow down. Like I fish 30.5-inch leaders to 31-inch leaders from Brewster all the way out into the middle of 14 miles off the tips of the ocean to the Rogue, dude. I fish the same length leader, and it's always 30-pound fluorocarbon. It's always tied on a size 1 treble with a size 1/0, stinger. Always the exact same. Always 3.5 millimeter beads. Always, the same clevis, and always a 3.5 blade, dude. Nothing ever changes on that. And so I've gotten to where I can understand, like, I'll just either speed up or slow down, right? Like, I don't have to change my leader length, because all you're looking for is the amount of whip your Pro Troll is really giving your gear. So rather than change my leaders, I just change my speed.
So now, because a lot of what we tell people is, I had a guy tell me, he had the perfect trout rod and the perfect kokanee jigging rod. And I said, no, you don't. Those are two different rods. You can't do, those are, so the 360 troll is the rod, you're hanging 16 ounces. So it's
sometimes 24. Yeah.
So it's a pretty good, that rod's pretty loaded up. Is the rod, are you rod specific when you're running those compared to when you're running a 360? Or not a 360, but a inline?
Not really. I mean, for me, the rods that I use right now are really good for both. They're not ideal for either one because, like you said, it's two of the rods I use are my 12.5 footers. They're money for the 360 Pro, but they're money for herring too. But I would use, if I was to use, like, I would ideally like to have two sets of rods, one for fishing 360s and one for fishing, herring in a flasher, because they're really two different bites, two different presentations. You know what I mean? And so ideally, I would like to have two sets of rods. Right now, the ones I have work great. I would have two separate sets of rods for those two applications if I could get rods.
Right.
Because the guys I usually get rods from, there's like
I'm losing you a little bit there.
Yeah, just breaking up a little bit, Jarod.
Fine. Just like you said, I'm going on. Whether you're inside drifting, float fishing, or whatever.
Well, we lost you a little bit there. But I think that's very, because we always talk about the action that our baits are getting from that rod. But like, a little bit of what you just explained, how those fish bite is just as important on, that's why we use different rods, because they're going to bite, when we're jigging for those Mackinac. We need a different rod to capitalize on how they bite during that as opposed to troll.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, bro. It's like I said, it's your data system. I mean, that's your feedback from the fish.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I'm pro trolling, people are always asking me, like, oh, how fast are you going? I'm like, it's not about speed, man. It's about line angle and thump. I'm like, pay attention to your line angle and your thump. And when you're catching fish on a certain line angle and thump, you replicate that. I'm like, so then your depth it matters. But I think, it's just like a plug, right? Like if you got a plug that really works well, right? Like I would rather have a plug that works good than a plug that's the perfect color, because if it doesn't run right, it's not going to catch as many fish anyway. Just like go ahead.
I think we've all had those plugs. I mean, for the most part, like I said, I run mag lips. That's all I run.
Yeah.
I've bought mag lips that I've put in the water that I've thrown away 15 minutes into that day. You don't know, for whatever reason, something just isn't running right. I mean, we test them, pretty much. Yeah. And then I've got one, I'm not kidding you, Jarod. I call it the one-eyed pirate. I've talked about it before. Dude, it has no paint left on it whatsoever. You can't even tell what that plug was painted on before. It's got one eye left. I'm here to tell you, I only fished that plug with one guy ever, and it's because he asked for that plug. And you put that plug in the water, you can put it right for whatever action that plug has is lights out. I mean, it's hands down, that will be the plug that gets bit.
Might have lost him there again.
Yeah.
So Todd, how has the steelhead fishing been?
Lost you there for a second.
Oh,
I got you.
He might be back. So Jarod,
there you are. I see you blinking now.
Yep, I think you're back.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is, right?
So Jarod, you've been in the tackle industry for a while now. What's kind of been any trends that you've noticed, or has there been like a big trend over the last 20 years that you've seen take place?
Say 20 years ago, your biggest things were really like triangle flashers. I mean, that's really kind of what came out and took away from some of the wiggle work, quick fish type business, right? Triangle flashers, with baits behind them was kind of a big thing. And then, after the triangle flasher, you got the super cut plug that came in, the super baits, and those came in and started becoming more popular behind a 360. And for a long time, that was killer, right? And, then I believe Pro Escobedo is the one that actually started this whole thing, the thinner thing, right? And once that came about, bro, that was just like game changer. It was like float fishing for steelhead. It took every great salmon fisherman and made them almost on an even playing field with every other salmon fisherman in a boat. And probably the biggest change and the most effective change I have ever seen in salmon fishing is the 360 spinner thing.
Do you think we're actually more effective and efficient fishermen now than we were 20 years ago?
Man, that's a tough one, because who really knows how many fish people caught that many years ago, because no one had social media, right? So it wasn't like I saw what everybody did every day, and not as many people were out there looking around. But I would say at this point in time, like anything else, right? You've got guys out there that are every day testing something new, learning new ways to do this, fishing fisheries that haven't been fished in different ways. And so I would say we are definitely probably more effective as far as covering more areas and more techniques than people used to be. Because for the first, I don't know how many years I salmon fished, I did a couple of things, because I fished buoy 10, I fished Drano springers or wherever we were allowed to. I fished a blue label herring with a weight. That was it. Always. It's all I ever fished. And so, now doing what we're doing now, it's so much, I think it's more effective because you're always fishing, like we talked about earlier, right? Like you're not always worrying about, because no matter what, you can put 6 perfect herring down in water with no grass, nothing wrong, no current, and troll those suckers for 30 seconds and pull them up, and 2 of them have something wrong with them.
Well, and in electronics, but I think, yes, just because of electronics that are on my boat, they're on, on
gosh,
Cody's
for
boat.
Sure, bro.
We get to see it in real time. I know if I drop a jig down on those lake trout, I know immediately whether that spooks them or not. We're not fishing baits for an hour anymore with no bites. It literally is, there's a fish, drop it down, that spooked him, get it out of there. And Cody did a great job this year with his he runs Lowrance, and forgive me, I don't know Live View, or it's a different
Live Scope or something.
They all have a different name. I run Garmin, which is and so, but he did he showed you those fish follow for a lot longer than you think. They don't just tuck in behind you and bite. It's I thought he did a great job explaining or showing real time to people of here's the bait, here's the fish. Nope, he didn't like it. And then, it literally is, it's a little bit of a different game now because of the electronics, for sure, I think.
It is. And so I guess after making that statement, you know what I mean? Like if you give Buzz and Bob Toman and a lot of these early lure designers that same technology we have today,
we wouldn't have any salmon still left.
Probably not, bro. We'd probably be a lot farther along, We'd probably be a lot further along, as far as that goes, because, even guys like, like Chris Turdy, that guy is a very, very smart guy. He designed some really cool stuff. I mean, that flasher he designed for Brad's. Now, Brad's is a competitor of mine, but Chris Turby has been my friend for 25 years, right? Like we've been buddies a long time, and I'm so proud of him and what he's done. And that flasher is really neat, dude. That was very innovative, very cool of him. I know how long he'd worked on that. And so to see something like that come to life, it's different, is neat. So there's still those guys out there like those Buzz Ramses that think that way, that are creating new and cool and thinking about the next thing in salmon, which is a lot of times what I'm doing. When I'm fishing somewhere, it could be why maybe I'm not getting my normal fish doing what I'm doing that day, but I'm testing stuff, you know what I mean, all the time. And,
well, I not to cut you off, Jared, but I really appreciate what you just said there. With Brad's as competitors, but you still look for it works, and it's not. I don't look at really as competitor to competitor, because you're both. It's a brotherhood in a sense of we're all there's enough pie for everybody. Because that's one of the things that we want, that we want to shed light on, that people think, I run striker rods. because they build a great rod. They're made here. I'm part of their family, and I love everything they do. But there's, Edge Rods is made here as well.
Yeah.
Those two companies, they don't see each other as competitors as much, just like you and Brad's. It's not really, your competitors, they're selling fishing rods in the same market, but it's like the other guides around me. I want to see everybody rise to a great level of success. Not just me. And I think that's important, that people need to understand. It's buy what works for you. We all have sponsors and all that, and it works for me. And, I bleed striker rods. But that's me. It's understand that there's a place for everybody as long as your money's being spent here.
And the competition's great. I mean, you guys pushing each other is going to make your product better. It's going to make their product better. And you just keep trying to beat each other. And eventually, you guys just keep progressing and getting better, that's great for the industry and for the sports fishermen as a whole.
Oh, it's great, dude. Brad's is a competitor of mine. Brad Schoenborn is my friend. He's a good dude. I've known Brad a long time. He's awesome, right? Technically, Dave Hawken, he's a competitor of mine. We both have salmon jigs. We both have kokanee dodgers. We both have twitching jigs. Dave's a friend of mine. He's a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of friends of mine that are competitors that are good dudes, right? Like, I think the biggest thing is, it's just like, if any one of us go to play a game, like I played basketball in high school, dude, that was my deal. And I am best friends with this guy. When I step on the floor, I'm going to rip your head off. But after the game's over, I'm going to give you a hug, right? That's how business works too. Same thing, right? Like, I'm going to do my best every day to be better than my competitors, not for any other reason other than that's just how I'm driven, right? Like, and I want to create something new for the next guy. I want to make sure that these people understand how my stuff works so they can go out and be successful. Because I don't fish anything that's not Yakima Bait other than a Pro Troll. That's the only thing I fish that's not, and a soft bead. That's it. Those are the only two things that I fish that aren't Yakima Bait. That's it.
Right.
And that's just because we don't make them.
Well, and that's, in the guiding community, it's the, Nate and Alex and Cody up there. We're all best friends.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. While we're on the water, I'm looking to kick your teeth in. I don't want, if you catch 5, I want to catch 80.
Yeah. 80, not 6, 80.
Yeah. And, but we don't share or we don't keep anything from each other. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm using. This is where I'm using it. We give each other, we don't keep anything from each other. But at the same time, when we're on the water, that rivalry and friendly competition that we have is fierce. And make no mistake about it. If you beat us, whoever wins that, because we have a competition.
Oh yeah.
Whoever gets the biggest or the most that day, that's who wins. And then you have to bow down to them for the rest of the day. It's the rules. I don't like it any more than they do. But it's that healthy competition of, I agree. I had a wrestling coach here in Central Point that, he just drove it into us. You're only as good as your training partner.
Yeah, right.
If you're taking it easy on your training partner, then you're not doing him any justice because you're going to get beat.
Right.
And so, it changed the mindset of it's that you will rise, like Steven said, to that next level of success just because you're pushed to it. You can't be lazy. You can't be lackadaisy. You have to just get after it every day. Otherwise, they're going to kick your teeth in.
Yeah, dude. And but again, like I said about Chris, I was proud of him for that. That's cool. He put in a valiant effort, and that is really neat, right? Yeah. Like, it's really neat to see your baby come to life. It's cool. I had a friend of mine last year. We were fishing, buoy 10. I gave him some lures, right? And he outfished me that day. And he's like, I gave him some spin fish, and he's like, he's like, all day he's feeding me crap. He was like, oh, I outfished you today. I outfished you today. I'm like, but did you? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, but did you, right? Like, I helped Buzz design the last 2 sizes of those, and I'm like, I designed those colors, right? And I handed them to you and told you how to fish them. I'm like, so did you?
But did,
I was just being like the like the buddy thing, right? Like the buddy thing, but right, like the buddy thing, But did you, And Austin was like, he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, no, bro, you really did. I'm just kidding you, bro. Like, but it's just funny, right? It's just funny. I'm like, did you really, did you? But which is awesome. That's the coolest thing in the world to me. I would love if everybody beside me outfished me every day on lures that I made. That's awesome, right?
Oh, well, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it the whole time. That's great. I will cheer you on every day you kick my ass. Yeah. Every single day. I'll be happy for you.
Oh, yeah. I'll buy the beer, tip my hat, shake your hand, and I'll bow out and say, well done. Because that's one of the things I hate, where social media is and all of that. I hate the passive-aggressive comments.
Oh, dude, come on.
You're not lucky. Believe me, if you beat me on that water, I didn't give it to you. Make no mistake about it. You earned every inch of it.
Yeah.
The tip your hat, shake a guy's hand, lucky only goes so far. Dude, we do this day in and day out. At what point does luck not exist?
Yeah.
It's, and so I tell everybody, luck's where preparation meets opportunity. And so
Amen, every time.
Absolutely. But that's more, life stuff, not fishing stuff.
But it is fishing stuff too, dude. Because I tell everybody the same thing, preparation. I said because 80% of my fish are caught in my garage, bro. Because I am prepped and ready when I go out there. I have leaders tied, lures done, everything's in prim and proper shape. It is ready for tomorrow.
I think we've already discussed. Hunter has leaders tied, rods ready.
Bro,
you've got a pretty sweet gig going on with the young man you're raising.
I do, dude. He's really good. I mean, he comes in here and we tie leaders and do all that stuff. But he's learned over time though that at first he was kind of like, God, I don't want to tie leaders. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And I would kind of make him do it. And now he's like, no, we need to retie this. No, this doesn't look right. No, this isn't far enough. Is this the right size hook? This tubing's too long. These are the wrong color beads. We should fish this. This is better contrast. This leader's frayed, right? And so he's learned.
Yeah, but his mind's
preparation
working.
Thing is.
His mind's working, and that's awesome, and that's what it takes to be a fisherman. Is your mind? You just can't be stuck into what you did yesterday. You have to be constantly looking at all the variables, to make the best decision that you can to maximize your success on that day, because we have limited time. You don't, and so it's. I tell my guests, it's the equivalent of holding your jig in your hand or having it in the water. That's what my preparation does, is it allows you to have it in the water all day.
Yeah.
Now, Jarod, what do you feel? I mean, you're a pretty successful fisherman. You've kind of raised a pretty successful son. What's led to a lot of the success for you with fishing and both in the fishing industry?
As far as the fishing thing goes with the kid?
Just your success overall. You have led this pretty successful life. What do you feel like has led to that success as a fisherman and in the fishing industry for you?
Honestly, man, I think a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised. My dad was a farm kid. When he grew up, man, that guy worked nonstop. He ran his own business. We owned 50 acres of farm as he grew up. He grew up that old school style, dude, and he instilled a work ethic in me at a very young age. It wasn't like I got to mow the yard and I was rewarded, right? Like I mow the yard, I ate dinner. But he would also take me hunting and take me fishing and, get me a 4-wheeler ride and buy me a bicycle. And so, I learned that hard work ethic. And man, like I told you, I was printing a pear orchard one day and I can remember vividly, like, I want to be Bill Dance. Like I want to test fishing lures for a living. And so I kind of set my mind on that, dude. And then as the doors opened for me, I took a job, I was making almost $100,000 a year. And I took a job making $30,000 a year managing a sporting goods store. So, I took those risks, but I think the reason that I end up where I did, and I'm still kind of moving through this thing, is, dude, I'm always positive, bro. Like I have been positive my whole life. I just try to be positive everywhere I go. I try to have fun. And this job was meant for me because no matter how you break it down, whether you're a guide, a sales rep, a buyer, retail clerk or whatever, you sell fun. Like if you're in the fishing industry, you sell fun. That's the bottom line. I sell fun. I don't just sell fun as far as fishing lures. I sell fun because I am fun, dude. You go hang out with me for a couple hours, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna do some stuff. You're probably gonna hear some things you have never heard come out of another human's mouth, but you will laugh and you will have a memorable day every single time we go. So I think that's really kind of what's put me where I am today. And first and foremost, man, I'm just blessed. I know God loves me. He gives me forgiveness every single day because he has to. But I'm one of those that he probably just laughs and goes, "You're doing what I want you to, kid. You're doing what I want you to, kid." You know what I mean? So I just I roll with that, bro. And it just, today's a good day. So I'm happy. Tomorrow I'll be here tomorrow. But
I think is a testament to, I didn't start my full-time fishing career, until 7 years ago now. I had some pretty traumatic life experience that, hit me down pretty hard. And coming out of that, I started my full-time career, and I had, like you had Buzz Ramsey. I had some great mentors, guys
those guys
that I love to death, that I still rely on today. For those deep, honest talks of, the reality of what we do. And sponsors, I've said in podcast back of, it's my family. I support the companies that, I always made a conscious decision that I use what I use because that's what works for me. Yeah. A lot of the sponsors, people that approach me and, want me to run their stuff, it's like, I'll buy it and I'll run it and I'll figure out if I like it or not. And then, but I'm okay buying it. It's not, there's so much of the industry, that people want. You're only as good as the amount of stickers on your boat, getting out of that mentality. And, and I really don't, I really don't align myself with a lot of, a lot of things of, there's a place for all of it. Your tight line Coveney jigs, hands down, one of my favorites. There's hardly a day that I don't have one on my, that I'm not running, in all honesty. It's because they work for me. It's the, but the first thing, and you see it more on your end, because I'm a guide and you're, a tackle supplier. People like, I have really great success with your stuff. Hey, can you give me some? It's about what you can give me, not how I can support you. One of my biggest ones was a couple podcasts ago was with fillet away fish mats. Dude, and I always bring it up because I fought it for like 3 years. I'm like,
those things are killer,
there's
bro.
No way. There's no way they do it. There's no way it's what they say it is. And I had a buddy of mine that guides up out of Vancouver. He's like, dude, I will buy you two. There's not a boat I own that doesn't have two in it. And a couple spares in my garage.
They're so legit, man.
It's the, I hope the community gets together of, it's not promoting something that works for you for what you can get in return. It's promoting it to where other people can have success. Amen, I hope the industry gets to that level of, it's not about, what you get for free or anything, from a guide standpoint.
Yeah.
It's not about what you get for free. It's open your mind to use everything and figure out what works for you.
Well, it just makes you a better fisherman, though. Like, in general, like, I've honestly never fished a super bait or a super cut plug, but I can tell you how to rig one. I can tell you how to fish one because I've sold them, right? Like, when I go to shows or whatever, people ask me, I tell them, right? Like, this is what you do. This is how you rig them. This is your leader link. This is how you fish them, right? Mm-hmm. Because they ask me the question. I'm not going to tell them, I don't sell those, so I'm not going to help you. No, that's not what it's all about, bro.
Right.
Like, I don't care. If you take your son out and you go catch him a fish on a super bait, I'll cheer you on and like your post all day long. I don't care. Right. My job is to design lures and make tackle that is so effective that you don't have an option. Like, what I mean? Right. And that's what I work towards every day. And, on certain days, mine's going to fish the other one. On other days, the other ones are going to outfish mine. Hey, dude, that's great. Right. That gives you a reason to fish both.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have a pro staff program, Jarod? And like, I mean, if so, how does that kind of work for your people?
So here's the deal, bro. I made mine because I'm friends with everyone, bro. Like, I don't have an enemy. So I made mine open. Like, when I say open, we had, I think, 380 when I started Yakima Bait Company guides on the guide program, right? I now have over 4,000 across the country. Yeah, 4,000. And we do have a pro staff program, and we work with certain individuals for certain reasons. Like, for instance, Cody Herman is a pro staffer, right? He also does a TV show thing, right? And so there's kind of a mixed in thing with that. And Cody is one of my dearest, most best friends, one of the awesomest dudes on the planet. I love that guy.
Hands down, you can't. I mean, I got to interject here for a minute. I've been blessed enough to know Cody for 5 years now. Hands down, yeah. I mean, dude, he's just a great guy, right? Yeah, I mean, it's and his TV show, what you see is what you get. Oh, dude, I've had the pleasure of fishing with him a number of times. He sells exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, dude. There's Cody. I mean, I've talked to Cody a bunch, a few different people about this, bro. Like, if I ever had to pick someone else that would be like following in Buzz's shoes, it'd be that guy. I mean, that's the guy, right? Like, he is just like Buzz. He's humble. He's kind. He's a very good dude. He's very good for fishing. He's very educated on all of it, man. He participates everywhere. He never meets a stranger. He helps everyone. He is just a class act good dude, and I'm proud to call him my friend for sure.
Me too. I got the opportunity. It's every year I take a handful of guys that spend that support me, and so in saying thank you to them, I take them on a guided trip somewhere.
Sure.
And this year it was, and I hire my buddies because I'm gonna, they're supporting me. I'm going to support my buddies.
Yeah, and why not, right?
We went sturgeon fishing with Cody, dude, and I tell this story a lot. The level of detail that man goes to catch a sturgeon on a bobber in a foot and a half of water. I thought, there's no way you're doing this. And so that's the only way I'm fishing. And he knows that. Yeah. Dude, I had the most fun. I'm here to tell you, man. Anybody that doesn't go do that, I mean, he'd run us up the river the day before. He's like, this sand flat right here, that's what we're up here doing. We're looking for, I don't know the terminology because I don't fish that up there, but the pock marks from where those sturgeon are feeding on the sand flats.
Yeah.
He already knows where they're feeding.
Yeah.
And so it literally is go there the next day at the tidal change, but when the conditions are right in that area. Yeah. And he's like, cast it 40 feet that way. And you're like, dude, I'm in a foot of water. And he goes, I know, it's going to be epic. I'm like, there's no way. Yeah. And then you see that big fish roll, and it's like that's the attention to detail that man pays. It's something that I admire. It's something that I look at Cody and to where I can up my personal game.
Yeah.
It's clinical to him. It's not, dude, he's not guessing. I mean, he's doing the homework to know exactly what he wants to achieve the next day to maximize his success. Yeah. And it is impressive.
It's funny, bro, because I bought my boat from Cody, the big boat that I got now. And so we were out there sturgeon fishing last year before, the year I bought it. And so he's got the marks on there, and they're marked sturge, right? I'm like, all right, I got his marks. Right. So I go start trying to find these things, bro. And it's like a blind rat in a maze because you got to go through all these weird channels to get to these blue dots that he's got marked sturgeon. And I'm going through 2 feet of water, and I feel, boom, the bow bump. So I back up, go the other way, boom. I'm like, so I call him. I'm like, bro. I'm like, how do you get in there? He's like, well, bro, you got to go in from the other side of the river. I'm like, you mean I got to go all the way up the bridge and then back up river? He's like, yeah, well, you can't get in from that side. I'm like, well, why isn't that on here? Like,
He's seen boats, yeah, there's boats screaming across the river, and he's like, oh, no, dude, you're 40 minutes away from making that line.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know that?
Yeah, it's sketchy, bro. Like, I've been out there enough now that I know where those spots are. And it's funny, last year we were out there fishing, and I stayed in the same spot. I found this sweet spot, bro, that's great on the incoming, outgoing, slack, dude, it's killer. I catch fish keepers every year. So I just anchor there, and Cody keeps calling me, where you at? I'm like, I haven't left, because they run around all over. And he comes to me later the day, and we got, I think 2 or 3 of our keepers. We were headed in, and he's like, hey, before you leave, I want to get your waypoints. off the boat. And so I literally nose over to his boat. He jumps out of the boat with his clients into my boat, comes and downloads all of his old waypoints and jumps back on his boat. I'm like, all right, man, there must be something. I was like, you need to teach me how to get in there one day and unlock the key to Pandora's box, because I cannot get in these spots.
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, it's one of the greatest things that I've learned from Cody is that attention to what's going on around me to maximize my success.
Yeah, and talking about that, right? Like all of these fisheries that I go to and fish with and I'm successful in, I have this group that's very unique. Every state I go to, every fishery I go to, I can pretty much make a phone call or two and be, halfway dialed in when I get there. And so a lot of my success traveling is talking to these guides and like yourself or friends that fish there, or people in stores that I know that work there or whatever, right? And I get a little 411, I get a little extra info on a lot of that stuff. And so a lot of that success comes, again, from people helping me out as well.
Right. Having that network definitely helps. When we're trolling for kokanee, we're texting each other, we're on the phone.
Yeah.
They're like, we're marking fish at 60 feet. They don't want to bite anything underneath 30. Yeah. And so, the learning curve of us is shaved off a lot just because, we have more eyes on the fisher.
Yeah. And that networking thing is, it's huge, man. And so I'm very thankful for that. It's funny because like Hunter, he'll go take my dad's boat down somewhere and he'd be like, where am I going to go? He goes, oh, never mind. He goes, I'll just call Shane Magnuson, or I'll just call Cody, or I'll just call, I'll call Brandon Glass. I'll call Josiah. And it's like, what freaking 16-year-old has this network, right?
And I'm sure that they all love talking to him.
Oh, bro, they love him. Like, dude, they will give him probably info that they won't give me, right? Like, I mean, dude, he texts all these people and, he talks to them all, and they're all friends, bro. We go hang out with them. We go stay at their house. We go, we take them fishing. We drink beers, we barbecue, we do whatever. And so his network is super cool. And it's really neat that he has that network. What are you doing, son? He's just standing at me really awkward.
Well, he's got to come in. He's got to come in and say hi.
No, come here, Hunter.
We're going to have him on the show here
Hunter. Soon. Yeah, here. What? I'll let him say hi. Here. Come here. Here we go. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Hunter, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm Todd. Well, you can see our names on the picture.
Yes.
If you had one piece of advice to share with an upcoming fisherman, what would be your piece of advice?
Ooh, it's a tough one.
Well, you can think about it for a little bit. How was your fishing season? What was the most memorable fish that you caught this year so far?
The most memorable fish I caught was probably when we were at Buoy 10 and we had a whole bunch of people in the boat, and I hooked, I think it was around 38 pounds. We had to release it. It was wild, but it was probably the biggest salmon I've ever caught. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, how about your Gold Beach experience?
That was really fun. I like that fishery. We're probably gonna go back next year. I caught a giant there. Everyone's nice. It's the Sea Lion Patrol is a super cool thing down there.
Yeah. Yeah. From what I can tell, you and your dad both got a kick out of that.
Yeah, it was cool. We've never seen that before. It was something different.
Yeah.
Would you rather be fishing up on the Columbia or do the Sea Lion Patrol up there?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would probably say down at the road because you have a better chance of catching the bigger fish.
Gotcha.
A better chance of catching a bigger salmon in Gold Beach than you do the Columbia?
Yeah, I think they tend to have more bigger runs of salmon than the Columbia does, but
yeah,
there's also a lot more fish in the Columbia, so you have a lot better opportunity to catch one in the Columbia than you do the Rogue.
Right, just for pure mass numbers coming in the river.
Yeah.
But how wide's the Columbia where you guys fish there?
Out of Buoy 10, I think it's like 4 miles wide, but we can only fish certain parts of it because there's sandbars and everything. So
is it just over time? I follow you guys online. I get to see. I've got to witness your progression through your career when you were just on the boat to now, I want to say last year, the year before when you started, or maybe the year before when you started running the boat, to where last year you were running the boat, and now you're pretty much, you can take the boat, I mean, without your dad, right?
Yeah, I can. He doesn't let me take his boat, but which is fine. I have my grandpa, which I take him, which is fun. I like just
Right.
him going out.
Right. So when you take your grandpa's boat out, you and your grandpa and is your dad out in his boat at the same time? And so is there a little bit of a competition going on there?
We haven't had that yet. I've been trying to convince him to do that so we can film it, but so we might do that next year.
I'm going to work on your dad. I would like to see that play out on social media. I would definitely watch that episode.
Yeah,
because I think you win. Hands down, I think so. I think your dad's a little bit stuck in what he does, and you're a little bit more open-minded. You know, he can't hear me, can he?
No.
Perfect. Okay. So you'll have to rewatch this to hear me running my sewer.
Yeah. I mean, one thing he said, he never beat him because he said, you can't use any of my gear. You'd have to get your own. I'm like, okay. I see.
Whoa, come on now.
Which makes sense. I get it. Yeah, he heard that. Which makes sense. But
so when are you getting your own boat?
Oh, probably not for a while.
No?
I will eventually. I just have no clue what I'm going to do yet. So it just depends on what I do.
Are you thinking so? I mean, obviously, you know, I mean, you can't fish as much as you fish and not have a passion for it, man. You know, I mean, it's in your blood. I mean, you've got it, you know, hands down, without a doubt. Yeah. And so, I mean, are you kind of leaning that way a little bit?
To some extent, yeah. I just don't know exactly what area I want to be for the fishing industry.
I was kind of in your position, I feel like, at your age. You know, it was like, do you go the biologist route? Do you go the guide route? You know, there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can go to still kind of stay in the industry. But at the end of the day, it's still, how do I get to fish every day, you know?
Yeah. It's going to be a tough choice, but I think I have some good help to help me out and figure it out.
What's your dad?
So are you rowing a drift boat much?
I haven't rowed a drift boat much, but I probably will this year when we go. I think we might go once or twice, so I might try to do it a little bit just so I know how to do it.
That was a little bit of a loaded question, because your dad said when it comes to the power boat, you want the helm every day, but when it comes to the drift boat, you have nothing to do with the oars of that drift boat.
Nope. Is a lot more work.
Is it because of you don't get a reel in fish, or is it you're just not sure about how the boat reacts to the hydraulics and the oars?
It's a little bit of both, but
yeah,
I just don't know exactly. I wasn't strong enough when we used to go drift fish a lot, so I couldn't row the boat. But now I think I'm a little bit stronger, so I can kind of do it a little bit better.
Hunter, I know the size of your dad, so I know how big you are when you stand next to your dad. And so I'm willing to say there's been about 2 years you should have been rowing that drift boat.
Yeah, probably a good point, but I try to get away with it as much as I can.
Absolutely. Hey, that's what it's about, is, you know, make him do the work.
Oh, always.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, you know, if you had one fishery to fish, you know, or one species of fish, you know, let's go. I mean, because you guys salmon fish a lot just because of where you are, and what you do. You know, I mean, what's your funnest species to catch? Is it a Chinook? Did you lose me?
I'd say it's a sturgeon. Hello?
Yeah. Yep, I got you now.
Okay. I'd probably say a sturgeon. I just like how hard they fight. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I was just telling your dad I got the opportunity to go bobber fishing for sturgeon with Cody this last year. And dude, epic, man. I mean, everybody should get to see that once in their life.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I want to do that.
Have you not done it yet?
I haven't done it yet.
Oh my God. Yeah. Tell your dad. Well, you know what? Don't even tell your dad. You got Cody's number. Text Cody and say, hey, dude, I got to get a sturgeon on a bobber.
I might have to.
Well, that's awesome. What other exciting things do you have going on in the fisheries right now as far as what's coming up?
I think we don't got much coming up until December, and then we might go fish some rivers for some winter steelhead, which might be fun.
Yeah.
Which we don't do that a lot. I'm excited about it.
Is that just because it's a busy time for the family, to where you don't get you're not able to get out as much as you are before, school and all that?
No, it's just hunting season. So we go hunting every week and instead go fishing.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
What kind of hunts do you guys got coming up?
Our deer hunt opens Washington next weekend, and then I think it's elk the weekend after that, and then we have Montana deer tags and like we might go in November-ish, so it should be pretty fun.
For mule deer or whitetail?
Yeah, mule deer.
Mule deer.
Yeah.
So you guys hunt the blacktail where you live there?
Yeah, it's just pretty much. There's a little different areas that has different things, but it's any 3-point or better. So it just depends on where we're at.
Do you hunt turkey at all?
I have not hunted turkey yet.
You got to be kidding me, Hunter.
Nope, never have.
Well, come down and go turkey hunt with me.
Okay.
Tell your dad we go kill a turkey with Todd down in Southern Oregon. We have a lot. It's and right now it's fall season, so you can shoot either sex. But we'll get you a tom, and so it's one of my highlights of the year. I haven't got a chance to get out yet because I've been on the water, and so it's that time to where we go get our turkeys.
Might have to do that.
So I tried to get your dad to go lake trout fishing with me, but him and Cody are pretty tight, and so I really doubt that he goes lake trout fishing on my boat, not Cody's boat. So
that sounds like a competition where Hunter goes on your boat and Jarod goes on Cody's boat to me.
Oh, Hunter. Yes. All right. So me and you will go fish, and your dad and Cody can go fish, and we'll see who gets the bigger fish. Ooh. I like that. Let's film it.
I like our odds.
Oh, me too, buddy.
I like me too.
So, but no, that'd be a lot of fun. It would be that would be a good one to have cameras on the boat to just have that friendly rivalry of us.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll show them what to do.
Oh yeah.
And then if we lose, we'll go turkey hunt. It'll be awesome.
Oh well, that'll be fun.
Now, Hunter, you've got to meet a lot of people in the fishing industry through your dad. Who's kind of been your favorite person or your favorite personality to get along with so far?
I don't know. All my dad's friends are all the same. They're all fun. They're all nice. It's just, I think it'd be too hard to choose one.
You don't want to name one person on this?
That was put him on. It's okay if you say Todd. Just say it out loud. It's Todd. No, I mean that's to a lot of your success is you have access to a lot of the top name guides throughout our throughout a number of states, right?
Oh yeah, my dad knows everybody everywhere. It's crazy.
Right.
A 10-minute grocery run takes an hour because he likes to talk to everybody.
I can tell you, and he heard that one too.
Yeah.
And so when you went fishing, when you caught your snook, that's a fish that's on my bucket list that I have not caught yet. What's the fight compared to? What fish do we have that resembles that fight? Would you say?
I would say kind of like I wasn't say salmon steelhead mixed. I would say kind of like that, but they're just a lot harder fighting fish. The bite's completely different. It's just weird. It's super cool though.
How did you guys fish for
We used some grubs and a jig head and just casted them out, let them hit bottom, and just slowly reeled them back.
Right. So was it a pretty violent take, like a plug bite, would you say?
It's like they just grabbed it and it just like it felt a big hug, and that was it. And you just set the hook. It was weird.
Huh.
Yeah.
More like a largemouth bass almost or something then.
Yeah, kind of.
Because when I go down to California, go striper fishing, we're back bouncing live minnows in the sack there. And, you can feel that minnow freaking out before you feel it, before you feel it crush it. And so, it's a little bit different, but they fight. That's a hard fighting fish. You hook one 4 pounds, if that, you'd think you had the new state record on there. It's just violent, that take.
Yeah, I haven't got one of those yet, which I want to do.
The striper?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
My dad went once. He brought back home a lot. I think I ate them all in the next day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're that good.
I like to make up the either fish tacos or ceviche with them.
Yep. We did the fish tacos. They were gone fairly quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fishery that you got to get down on in the sack.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen Steve Chrysler is catching them now.
Really?
Yep. I seen he posted a picture of a couple fish the other day. I don't know where he's fishing, but it's somewhere here in Oregon.
Oh, that's cool.
So have your dad, just get in your dad's phone, you probably have Steve's number. Just reach out to Steve and say, hey, I'm getting on the Greyhound, going to be down in your area, pick me up, and I'm going to go fishing.
I might just have to say it's a school trip and be gone for a couple of days.
Absolutely.
Are you playing any sports with all the fishing and hunting that you do? Or are you pretty much concentrated on that?
I am not for sure. I might do basketball this year. I'm not 100% sure though.
How much is that going to cut into your fishing?
Oof, that's a tough one. Probably a lot.
See, I know. And you're hunting. I mean, and that's really what goes on with, with trying to navigate sports and the outdoor sports, have you found it's been one way or the other, or is there room that you could do both, you think?
Yeah, there's room. I think I'd have to do less of fishing and more of the sports, because that's more of, I have to be required to
Don't cuss in the kitchen like that.
What?
Come on.
I'd agree with your dad. I mean,
I would too.
I played basketball in high school. I was not, I wouldn't say the most talented player, but I did have offers to like Portland State.
Yeah.
But my senior year, it was all about going fishing every day during the summer. It was not going to the gym, not working out, not doing the basketball practice. I'd rather be out on the river, targeting salmon all day, every day. So it definitely, I mean, you kind of have to pick one or the other, it seems like.
Yeah.
I went the fishing route. We'll see what you end up going with, but.
Yeah, we'll see.
All righty. Well, now we're going to put you on the point. We're going to put you back. We get you a little bit of time to think about it.
Okay.
One fishery. Where are you fishing?
Buoy 10.
No, I was just going to, you cut me off before I could say you can't have the club. Because, it is an epic fishery. Don't get me wrong. I mean, without a doubt, it is an epic fishery, but it's, I'm looking at more people that don't have access to Buoy 10, everywhere you get a fish.
Yeah.
Where's it going to be?
Well, I'd have to go the Rogue River then.
Well, I mean, is it, what's that pool, that
Drano?
Circle that you got? Drano. I'm saying Buoy 10, the lower Columbia. They can be anywhere from the lower Columbia,
Okay. Yeah. The Buoy 10's, Drano's cool. There's just too many boats.
Yeah.
So I'd probably have to pick the mouth of Klickitat if I were to pick one.
The mouth of Klickitat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you fishing that? Are you trolling?
Yeah, trolling, you can hover fish. It just really depends on what you want to do.
So that hover fishing, Hunter, and I've never done it, so I don't know what it's about. You know, I mean, I know kind of the basics. You're using eggs underneath a lead, and you're holding the rod and you're waiting for them to bite, right?
I've done it once, but yeah.
I mean, is that so? It's literally when they say hover, are you sitting on anchor? Are you drifting? What's the protocol there?
You could be drifting a little bit, but usually whoever you're with will hold the boat in place, and you'll hit the bottom and reel it up 2 cranks. And whenever you get a bite, you just wait for a second and then set the hook.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they're using spot lock or anchor mode, whatever trolling motor they have on the bow of their boat to hold them right there on that location. Yeah. And you're just waiting for the fish to come up and grab your stuff as they're going by.
Yeah.
Got you. Nice.
Now, what do you feel like's led to a lot of your success already, Hunter? Is it just having your dad and that network of fishermen to be able to learn from, or is there something else that's going on?
It's definitely having my dad in the network, because when we go to fisheries, we already know everything, so it's a lot easier to dial it in a lot quicker.
So having access to that information has been a definite boost to your success, you believe?
Yeah, it definitely has, because we have everybody, we know everybody. We give people information, they give us information, so it's just kind of everybody helping everybody.
Right. What do you feel about because it's not widespread information, so it's not like getting blasted all over social media as far as ruining, what people perceive to be ruining a fishery, because, the fish are biting here. I mean, during salmon season at Buoy 10, it's so congested because they know the fish are there, right? And is Drano the same way? Is it just a certain time of year those fish are there and that's when the people are there? Or does it kind of fluctuate?
It just depends on what's open, because usually for Springer season, there's only there's only 2 places open in the whole Columbia. Because you can't fish in the Columbia, you have to fish in estuaries, and Drano and the Wind are the only ones that are available.
Oh, I see. So it's more of a open or a retention, than it is where people want to fish.
Yeah, that's where they have to fish.
Oh, I see. So that's why you get the natural congestion that you get, is because that's the only place you can fish.
Yeah.
Now, do you got a bunch of buddies that you go fishing with from school, or is it pretty much all the old guys like your dad?
It's all of the old guys like my dad. Not a lot of people from my school like to fish, and they'd rather out be shooting hoops or something. I would be fishing.
Gotcha.
So, So what do you I mean, a lot of what we're doing here at the Northwest Fishing Club is to get more, because, I'm a full-time guide. And so, what do you think we need to do better to get my clientele list is not getting any younger? So what do you think I could do better to recruit more people your age to get them into the sport?
I would have their parents or their guardians have them take them fishing and get them to like it. Have them do something fun, have them catch a lot of fish, because if you go once and you catch 1 fish, they're gonna be like, this is boring. But if you go bass fishing and catch 100, you're like, oh, this is fun.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that's what we do. We go up to Lost Creek, we're gonna go bass fishing, we're gonna go trout fishing. I'm not gonna take you onto the salmon and steelhead, because in the river pretty much you're gonna get 4 to 10 opportunities in a day. And as a fisherman as fish as much as you have, 10 opportunities, you're going to get 3 to 4 fish a day, out of those 10. And so I guess what I'm asking is, how do we get kids your age passionate about getting, because the parents have been around long enough to where they either have the passion or they don't. Yeah. And so it comes from somebody your age going to their parents saying, hey, I would like to go fishing. what kind of content do you think we can put out there to get your attention to where if you weren't a fisherman that had access to what you have access to, what kind of content can we put out there to where people would get kids like you inspired to be involved in it? I don't know if I'm asking that the right way. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, it makes sense. I would just, the social media, all the kids are on social media. I just post videos that are fun, that have kids in it, everybody laughing. It's just, so it gets their attention. Like, hey, this is kind of fun. I might want to do it.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that TikTok, Facebook?
That Instagram, all of them. They're
so
on
which
one of them.
Which one are you following the most?
I like Instagram. I don't have Facebook, so I don't know pretty much about that. But a lot of the younger people have Instagram over Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I mean, that's the big question of, like I said, we got to get more people. There's a lot of people fishing and hunting, but we need to get more of the younger crowd into doing it because, when you walk down to your boat in the morning, how many people do you see your age? Honestly,
very rare.
You're talking to adults all day, every day, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there anybody else your age running a boat?
No.
Not that I know of. No.
And so and that just helps us, because we can tap into your mind to understand what we need to put out there to get more people interested in the sport of fishing.
Yeah.
So what makes it fun for you? I mean, you said that you don't have a lot of friends into it. It's obviously fun for you. Why don't the friends want to come out with you?
They are all busy. They'd rather be doing other stuff. Like I said, it just depends. If they have time, they'll go every once in a while and have fun, but it's very rare for them to go out and fish.
Right.
Okay.
Got it. Well, that was we wanted you to come on because a lot of our conversation had you in it just because like I said, I've got to watch you progress from just being on the boat to running the boat now and making decisions on your own safely and confidently. And so I mean, I got to tip my hat to you and give you a big hug and tell you well done. I'm very proud of you. I really like what I see. With your ethics and how you conduct yourself is remarkable for a man of your age. It's something that we don't see all the time. And so thank you for always being that step above, being aware of your surroundings, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I had a good teacher to teach me.
You did have a good mentor. He's a great man.
You get your allowance this week.
Yeah, see? Yeah, you're welcome. You can send me a check for half of that.
Okay, we'll see. I'll let you know what allowance of $0 is halfway.
But hey, plant the seed in your dad's head.
Yeah.
Me and you will fish against him and Cody.
I will.
Be righteous.
I'll get him onto it.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you for sharing a little bit of your night with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here.
All right, buddy.
Definitely. Throw your dad back on there.
Yeah, I am.
Now you get to finish dinner.
What's up, boys?
Hey, Jarod, I just want to say thank you very much for sharing your family with us.
Yeah,
that is
cool,
he's a remarkable young man and well done.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, he's a neat kid, man. It's funny. I've been taking him fishing with me since he was, he started fishing with me in a Klickitat. He was in a diaper, and I had him a small spinning rod and reel that Jason Hamley gave me. It was a Lamiglass redfish rod. It's indestructible. And I got him a 3000 series Shimano reel, put it on there with some braided line and a bobber and a pink worm. And he would wake me up every morning before I take him to daycare or take him to preschool, and he'd make me go out in the yard and cast with him. And like 1.5 years old, I would put this wagon behind my bike. I'd back up, look at that, get out and stand there in his diaper, and he'd fish that bobber and pink worm, like cast it like 10, 15, 20 feet in front of him, right? Like I would get as far away as I could and let him cast, right? And his diaper would be so swollen, it would look like he was wearing a beach ball because he's standing in the water, bro. And there's so many trips. I can remember we went up there and did that one time when he's about 4, and we caught me and him and my nephew, and we caught 6 Chinook that day and 1 coho. And I had them all in this wagon, and he's riding in the wagon with all these fish, right? And it's 2 miles back. We bike in. I get him in the car. He is just pissed, bro. Like, he's crying. He's mad as hell. He's tired. It's been like 8-10 hours. And so I drive him all the way up. He wanted an ice cream cone. So we go up through Golden Dale, and I go to get him an ice cream cone. I wake him up. I'm like, hey, here's your ice cream cone. And he was so pissed, bro. He held that ice cream cone the 1.5-hour drive the entire way home, bawling, it melting in his hand, him slinging it all over the window. Dude, he's mad as hell. He's like 3 years old, right? And we get home, we get him in the shower, get him calmed down, get him some food. I'm laying in bed, and I'm scratching his head, bro. And I look over, and the whole bed is covered in scales. He had scales like wedged into his hair, right? So this kid has been part fish since he was a little kid. Pretty funny, dude. But yeah, he's a unique kid, man. But he grew up doing this, and the coolest part about it, man, is not just that he loves it like we all do. It's that he respects it like we all do, man. I mean,
absolutely.
He respects it. He, like, when we go fishing and it's everybody in the boat that's fished, and caught a fish, man, he'll fish. He fishes his own rod, he does his own thing, but he still helps out throughout the whole boat. But when we get people on the boat that have never caught a salmon, bro, like, he gets up his rod every single time.
Yeah.
Like, if it means he doesn't catch a fish, he doesn't give a damn, bro. Like, right. He gets up his rod every time. And we'll take some families fishing, some friends fishing. Like, we took one of our friends fishing and his wife, they're in their 70s, and then their kids and their grandkids, right? And so we had them on the boat. I think we killed 11 Chinook that day, 4 jacks and 7 adults or something. And none of them never caught salmon, bro, until, dude, it was insane. And Hunter all day long was helping these kids, and rebaiting. But by the end of the day, we had all 3 of those kids were checking grass. They were running the boat. They were bonking fish. They were bleeding fish. They were doing all this cool stuff that Hunter taught these kids how to do, right? Because they see this, little bit older kid doing it. And, here he teaches them this super positive thing all day. They have, like, literally one of the best days on the water they've ever had as a family. And it was just killer, bro. And so he does stuff like that. He's very selfless when it comes to fishing, which is cool, dude. He shares it. It's neat.
Dude, and you can, we had the pleasure of talking to him for, pretty close to a half an hour, and you can hear it. You can hear it in his voice of, it is that for him. It's, you can see already at a young age, you can see it take transformation of, I enjoy this so much that I want you to enjoy it as well. And it's remarkable. Yeah. I mean, it took me a lot longer than that to get to the place to where I wanted that, but that's why you start guiding. Is because you want to fulfill that for somebody else. And just to shed some light on it, we did throw the gauntlet out there. I think this year is the year that you come lake trout fishing with us.
Yeah, bro.
Well, now hold on. It's because I asked him, I said, well, you ever launch your grandpa's boat and then have a competition against your dad? And he said, no, not really had that yet. And so, I know you and Cody are, Cody is one of your number one best friends. And so I know you would never, not a disgrace to me or anything else, but, you would be in Cody's boat. And so I would like to have Hunter in my boat. And I say,
bro.
Dude. And I say,
give me dates like right now on air, and I'll put it in my phone. Give me a date.
And I say, we film it. I say, let's me and Hunter go out against you and Cody. I think
that's so fun,
dude. I would love it. That's be
so fun.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go have a friendly competition of the 2 boats of just get her done.
Dude, that'd be super fun, bro. I'm all in for that. Yeah, Hunter would love it. It would be super fun. He says you and him would win. Did you hear him? He knows what we're talking about, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, he's full of confidence.
Oh, dude, but he can back it up. That's the problem.
I know.
He can back it up. Yeah, it's funny, because,
I'm liking my odds right now. Because I know your level of fun and your tomfoolery And Hunter takes it a little bit more serious than we do.
Yeah, bro, that's why we catch so many fish, because I am Captain Goofball on the boat, and he's like, Dad, do this. And he'll bust my balls sometimes, bro, but he's almost always right. And like, he is the adult in our relationship. I mean, what other 16-year-old can you put on a podcast and have an adult conversation with two adults and not sound like, yeah, dude, that was way cool, man. Oh, wow, or whatever, right? So it's like, he's legit. He knows it. So yeah, if he beats me, I would never hear the end of it. But what? That's one of those moments that's just like, I am so proud of you. I'm going to kick the crap out of you behind that dumpster in 6 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I mean, what I like is I don't have to run my boat. There's the key. There's a tiller handle. I get a fish.
Yeah, he'll run it.
Absolutely. And
legit, dude.
But dude, this next in 2023 season, we have, like I said, I'll put a camera on my boat, and I know, we'll have a camera on Cody's boat.
Yeah.
That would be a blast of what that fishery has to offer, and just the camaraderie of what we all love. It'd
be so fun.
I would really love that.
It'd be so fun. What month's the best month to do that?
So May and June. Either any day in May or June, we're going to have great opportunity success. May, the jigging for kokanee is going to be a lot better in May, which is awesome. It's super fun, because they're jumping, and so they're all on the surface, and so it's pretty epic. June, we're going to be trolling for them, and then the lake trout doesn't matter. We're going to have great success in May or June for the lake trout.
Cool, dude. Yeah. So so May or June, let's try to plan the first 2 weeks of June. I usually don't have anything going on then, or let's say second week of June. That's Hunter's first week out of school. Let's try to do it in that week.
The first week of June?
Yeah, second week of June.
Second week of June.
Yeah, let's try to coordinate with Cody, and let's get one of those days, because Hunter gets out of school like the first week, and so we can bounce.
Yeah, no, I'll get a hold of, because me and Cody got to have our yearly, our end of the year meeting anyway, and so I'll get with him, and we'll get a couple days. Probably try to do 2 days. That's a long ways. That's a long ways for you guys to go for one day. And so
I'm thinking 3. You can't do 2 days, bro, and then have like a best 1 out of 2. It has to be 2 out of 3, bro. You can't do that to me. I got to live with this kid. You got to give me an opportunity to come back like Lloyd and Harry and totally redeem myself, right?
All right. Well, I'll present it to Cody for 3 days.
Okay.
And we'll make it happen this year. This year will be the year we get you guys down and fish here locally. So
yeah, dude, I'm all in. It'd be so fun, bro.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I mean, to see Hunter shine, and every time that we see each other after this, that look of, I can't believe
holding
you
the second place trophy.
Me,
I know, dude. I'm gonna feel bad when you guys hold that silver trophy, and I'm rocking this big gold necklace.
Dude, I'm totally getting trophies made. I am.
When I win, I'm gonna get a Flavor Flav necklace made.
Oh no, they'll be already made. We're gonna go full out on this one.
That's awesome, bro. I'm in.
So I'll get with Cody. We'll make it happen.
Cool, bro. No, that's fun, man. That's cool. I'm glad you guys got to chat with him. He gets to chat with a lot of my buddies and hang out, right? But so it's cool to get him out here. I mean, he does on TV and stuff too. But sharing this out there and people getting kind of an in-depth look at like, all right, dude, what's this kid really all about? It's kind of cool. So yeah, it's kind of neat. Because I'm excited to actually listen to the interview, because I couldn't hear what you guys were saying. I just heard his responses, so I could picture your questions. Which, one point in time, I did have a knife in my hand. I was like, that's just not right. That's just not right. They're saying something bad. But no,
we could see it. We could see it in the background, and it's he's very well spoken. It's little, but I mean, we're used to it. I mean, we caught him off guard pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure
it was.
Yeah. Bro, I'm his dad. If you catch him off guard, dude, you did some work. Because trust me, I said some stuff to that kid that,
Wait till you replay it and hear the first question.
I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. That's awesome.
So, Jared, that's awesome.
one of the questions we did ask him was you kind of what his aspirations were for after school. You know, back when I was his age, fishing kind of took over life, and I kind of went that direction, trying to make a living fishing. As a dad, I'm a soon-to-be dad. You know, you're going through this right now. What are your hopes for him after school?
Dude, whatever makes him happy, bro. Like, you know, honestly, man, I spent my whole life working my ass off, bro, doing things that didn't make me happy to make money. And when I took that $100,000 pay cut to make him 30 grand, I was way happier, bro. I was having fun. I was doing something I loved. And really, dude, you know, at the end of the day, if you're happy doing what you're doing and you can pay your bills and you can, you know, go out to dinner on occasion and put some gas in your car, dude, and keep your lights on, you're living pretty good, bro. So for him, as long as he's happy, bro, like whatever he does makes him happy. You know, I did tell him that if he does go into like guiding or one of those things, even in the fishing industry, I would like him to like at least go get like a 2-year business type degree, right? Like, I don't care if it's a 4-year or whatever. I mean, just get the 2-year business degree and get some background, you know, because like for me, I had, you know, I was 26 when I went into retail. And so I was in there for 10 years. And so I learned a lot about business. Mike Hammond, the owner, is super cool dude. He ran Walmart stores since he was 19. The guy was just a stud, right? Very good friend of mine. And so he gave me a lot of insight and helped me those 10 years. Like I went to, you know, kind of like a, you know, graduate school or master's program for business. And so I would just like him to have some sort of experience like that before he gets there, because the rest of it, he already does with me, right? Like he travels across country, you know, he goes to seminars, he films TV shows, he goes on sales calls with me. He learns how to promote product. I teach him how to market things. You know, I show him how to network. And so all of those things he knows how to do, right? And so it's just basically that beginning knowledge for him that I think would be beneficial to him before he starts on his way. But, you know, he's a determined kid. He's a smart kid. He's a likable kid. He's a hardworking kid. And so whatever he decides to do, I'm sure he'll just freaking crush it, dude.
Well, I think, and I agree. I think one of the greatest things you've instilled in him. I mean, you know, a lot of what we do is fishing, and you've gave him all the fishing that he hasn't. You know, I mean, he knows it, you know, but I think one of the greatest things that you've instilled in him is that confidence to try. You know, one of the things that I try to teach, you know, try to tell every kid that we work with is be more afraid of not trying than you are of failing. Yeah. And I think you've instilled that in him very well, because, you know, I mean, just through his progress of, you know, like we've touched on numerous times this talk is, you know, where I seen him where he was on the boat to now he's running the boat. Mm-hmm. You know, that confidence, be aware of your surroundings, but you know, have enough leash to, you're going to fail and you're going to see where you failed. But until that steering wheel is in your hands, you're not going to know you failed. And so, you know, I think he will take that and analogy and put it to a number of places in his life of, you don't see him fearful. You don't see him afraid of trying. You know, he's not afraid of failing. He's afraid of not trying is what I see through his,
for sure, bro,
you know, progression of growing up. And so well done. I mean, cause that's a lot of things that a lot of kids, you know, I mean, I don't agree with everybody gets a trophy. You know, I don't agree with that. No. You have to earn it.
So I coached his basketball team. Same with my daughter. My daughter was a 4-year college athlete, played basketball too, but I coached them since they were little. And the kids would get second place trophies in tournaments, and I wouldn't give them to them. I would throw them away. I'm like, no. I'm like, you can look at them. I said, but we're not taking this crap home. I'm like, and I would toss them. I wouldn't give them to them. I wouldn't give them a 3rd place trophy. I wouldn't give them a 5th place trophy. No, we don't get a trophy just because we showed up, boys. You're gonna earn this one. And so seriously, dude, my son has no trophies that say like 2nd or 3rd or 4th place. Bro. Look at, I would not give them to the kids, and I would tell them why we didn't get them. Yeah. We didn't earn them.
Right. But I think that's where the conversation starts and stops. Is you know, you would tell them why they didn't get that trophy.
Yeah,
you know,
bro. Like.
You know, I mean, because a lot of kids are like, oh, my coach threw the 2nd place trophy away with no explanation. It's like being in trouble with your dad, you know, getting beaten. You had no idea what you were getting beat for. You know, it was, at least you have that conversation of, this is why you don't get that trophy, is you didn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and their parents knew too. I told the parents, I'm like, hey, I'm here to win. I don't care if it's my kid, your kid, whose kid it is. I don't care. We play to win, right? Like, I will run your kid to death. Your kid will hate me. They will respect me. And they will work their butts off. I would literally call timeouts to make them run. I heard parents call me names from the other team from the stands multiple times over the years. But my kids were disciplined. And when they came out unleashed, they would tear you a new one, right? And we played against all select teams. We were just a school team, right? Same kids grew up together, right? And we started by 6th, 7th grade. We were mowing over everybody. It was cool to watch that transition because they all became hungry. But I was hard on them boys, but there was no love with me. But them kids still give me a hug, and when I
but it was love.
School, it was love, bro.
It was love. It was that tough love of and we without a lot of people that don't understand it. We just witnessed it here not 15 minutes ago. You were in the back cooking dinner without saying a word. You put the headphones on, he took them off. And what's Hunter doing right now?
Yeah, he's finishing dinner, bro.
And so that's, just another testament to your guys' relationship of nothing really needs to be said anymore. Everybody, it's a team. Our homes run off of a team. We have success because we surround ourselves with success. Yeah. Everybody does what they can to help each other, not I'm going to go watch TV while you cook dinner and I'm just going to wait to be served. Everybody's helping each other wherever the need is the greatest.
Yeah.
And I think
for sure, bro. And also, dude, I'm raising him to be a man.
Absolutely.
That's the difference, bro. Is like there's not a lot of those people that do that anymore. And so when he becomes a dad, a husband, or whatever, right? Like he's a man. He's not a boy, right? Like he's going to be a man. That's the whole deal, right? And he does things like a man does. He's kind and gentle to a woman, a lady or whatever. But he's stern but he's confident. And he's focused and he's strong and he's got a work ethic, right? All those things, man. You try to instill those in your children, and I'm just fortunate that with him it all stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people want to take that, what you just said, and they want to run with, a man doesn't. My wife goes grocery shopping. When she pulls into our garage, she does not bring any groceries into this house. Sure. I go out and bring all the groceries in. Dude, I do dishes because she cooks. Yeah, it's the same thing. The definition of a man, people want to put it down this rabbit hole of, what they perceive it to be. And it's not, it's just, like I said, it's a team environment. It has, it's being confident, it's being aware and being I don't want to say provider because that's not the world we live. It's not a provider. It's just we each have our roles and we do the best we can in those roles. And those roles are forever fluid. One night it's this, next night it's that. I think that people are too hung up on I take out the garbage because I get up early in the morning and the garbage is full and I'm headed out to my truck to take off. So I take the garbage with me. It has nothing to do with anything else.
And all that stuff really came from us hunting and fishing together, being in the outdoors, bro. It's like that time and that respect and that extra time I get with him to teach him where he's not buried in a video game or doing this thing or that thing, right? Like I had that time to teach him, those things. I don't know if you know who Tim Grounds is. Tim Grounds is a legend in the waterfowl world. He built duck and goose calls for years. His son Hunter Grounds is the world champion. He was a world champion, and I became friends with Tim years ago when I used to tune my own duck and goose calls and build reeds and stuff when I was in retail, right? And he told me one day I was on the phone, and I can remember this vividly. He passed away a couple years ago. He's a good dude, but I needed to tune my call, and it was goose season, and so I call his phone, right? And he answers it, and he's in a goose blind in Illinois in the middle of January, in the middle of nowhere, right? He answers it, and he's like, "Hey," and I can hear, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," and I'm like, "Hey, man, blah, blah, I need to do this, my goose call, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem, get it to me." And he just like out of the blue just says, "Hey, Jarod," he goes, "By the way," he goes, "you can teach your kids to hunt and fish, or you can hunt and fish for them later." Is what? And he goes, "You heard me," and that was it. And he hung up the phone, and I was like,
"Dude, that's pretty awesome."
That's pretty awesome, right, bro? And that was like like probably the late 90s, like 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there, right? So those words just kind of stuck with me, man. And, I've noticed, like I said, he and I spend a lot of time doing stuff, but you learn a lot of different things, you're not just hunting and fishing. I mean, so it kind of really resonates with me now. That saying, 20 some years ago, resonates, right? And it was from a guy in the hunting and fishing world. Pretty neat deal. So that's just kind of what I've tried to do, with him, and not just him, but I teach everybody the same thing, right? Like I've taught him to teach people those things, like pass this stuff on, bro. Like it's not a big secret. Let them know, tell them, and so he does, which is super cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Jarod, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours now.
Nice.
I know you've got some dinner cooking behind you.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything either you or Todd that you guys want to touch on here to end the show?
No, man, just to, thank everyone for listening. And, I love my job. I love what I do. And I appreciate everybody that supports everything I do with my son and, supports anything to do with the fishing industry. It's just something really cool. It's been a part of my life and a positive part for a long time. So, if you're nervous or scared to get in the outdoors or don't know how, or don't have, the means or whatever, or just can't figure it out for you and your kid, like message me on social media or whatever. And I'll be happy to help you, guide you in the right direction. If I can, I'll take you out, whatever. I would just like to see more people just get in the outdoors, get your kids involved in something cool and something positive. So that's about it.
Where can people find you online?
So you can find me on Facebook, Jarod Higginbotham. That's Jarod, like J-Rod. And then my last name, Higginbotham, or Instagram at Jarod Higginbotham, YBC. And just message me. I answer all of them. I get hundreds of them, weekly, but I answer them all. And so if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, let me know. I'm happy to do that.
And then, Todd?
I want to bring up the alpha. Okay. I'm not letting you off the hook. And you say it a lot better than I do, Steven. So we're going to make Jarod give us a piece of alpha.
You want me to say
you got to explain it.
Okay. So we end every episode, Jarod, with our guest giving our viewers a piece of alpha. So that's your best piece of advice. It could be fishing, could be life, just whatever you want somebody to take away.
Just be kind.
Be
kind. Be nice to people. Right? Be nice to people. Make a friend. Be patient. We're all in this together. None of us are getting out alive, so just be kind. I guess that's all I have, bro.
I like it.
Yeah.
Todd?
Well, mine's going to be, I don't know if we talked about it on air or before, but mine's going to be, when you look at yourself in the mirror, look at the real you and be honest.
Bro. There you go. And be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Mine tonight, I'm going to go the fishing direction. We've had this summer that pretty much seems to never end. So when it does finally rain here, go fishing. Fishing is a lot of just timing. And as soon as it rains is going to be the time to be out there. It doesn't matter where you're at. Just go fishing when it rains.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again, Jarod. We really appreciate your time tonight.
Yes,
this
Jarod.
has been an awesome conversation with us, and hopefully it's been super useful and informative for the viewers as well.
Oh, for sure. Lots of good info. That's awesome, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely, man.
And for the
it's
viewers
good to see you, buddy.
Tonight, yeah, for the viewers tuning in tonight, we really appreciate your time as well. Thank you for watching this. If you'd like to know more about the Yakima Bait Company, I believe it's just yakimabait.com. For us, it's the Northwest Fishing Club or northwestfishing.club. You can find us on the website, social media, or the Discord. And with that, guys, have a great night. All right, we're off live, guys.
Cool.